We are, make sure, there you go. We are live. You know what it is. If it's Sipping on Sundays, it's on a Monday. I think y'all kind of like that. But you know what, though? It doesn't matter. Sipping on Sundays on a Sunday, sipping on Sundays on a Monday. We still going to be sipping on all the hot topics of HBCUs and everything, man. You know what it is. It's Mr. Campbell, my man, Zoe Phillips, Jackson State in the building, FAMU in the building, HBCUs in the building. It's Monday night. You know what it is. Let's get it started. What is going on, Zoe?
Man, what's happening, man? What's going on with it, man? It look lovely weekend. I'm hold on, because I'm in the countdown right now. I got a little over 2 weeks. Yeah, I got 2 weeks from Saturday.
Okay, so we got to have a special edition, Sipping on Sundays, where we put the Cash App up, let people know. We got to have the link for for the wedding registry. We got to have all that because we got to do. Hey, listen now. Now, y'all have been with us, and I'm going to say this, and I really, man, when we started this show for two reasons. A, because I love my man, Scotty like a son. We got to keep that off-strip channel. B, me and Zoe been talking about this for a second. And we said, we got to put this spin on it because, one thing about it, and Zoe, I think you'll agree with this. You might not like us. You might not want to talk to us, but the one thing you ain't going to deny is the fact that we spitting. Because we spit facts on here, Zoe. Sometimes folks get mad. We spit facts over here.
I'm going to say this too, and I mean this, right? So I'm going to pull the curtain back a little bit. So a lot of y'all don't know. Well, some of you do. Like, I'm back in Mississippi now. I'm no longer in Atlanta, back home. And your boy, if y'all know, Herb know, Steve know, obviously, Scotty know. So your boy's here first. I done jump back into IT. And so, like, my days are crazy. Not in the mail truck. I'm back in my original field. Back in IT. Y'all know I work for AWS. Solely in networking, and so it take up a lot of my time. But let me just tell y'all, this football season right here, me and Unc, you ain't gonna want to watch nobody else. I swear to you, man. Listen, I salute and watch everybody, but I'm telling you right now, when we're talking about highlights, because see, one thing about it. Outside of swacking the fool, and maybe I might say Doc. Everybody else is school specific.
Right.
And even then, what they show gonna be limited. But I'm telling you right now, when we talk about SWAC, we talk about MEAC, we talk about them D2s, Sunday's gonna be lit. Look, I know NFL coming. I'm a diehard Chicago Bear fan, but I'm telling you right now, them Sunday evenings, you're going to want to be here, bro.
Bro, listen, because I want people to understand. You see, I had to, I'm just glad you said that. So that's why I got to have my Mr. SWAC unit in the back. You know what I'm saying? I'm international. I'm rather raised, but I'm internationally known for all the HBCU. So I'm here representing everybody, man. So listen, like I say, Kim, listen, representing Grambling. We got Grambling folks in here. We got A&T folks in here. We got FAMU folks in here, man. We got, listen, my man, listen, like you say, representing that D2 lipstick. You know what I'm saying? We don't care because we all big family. We appreciate all you all being here. But man, listen.
Oh, see, and while I'm talking, because I did say it, shout out J Max, Line Ass Laugh. Shout out my boys, man. They do their damn thing, repping the SWAC. But I'm telling y'all now, all of y'all that can hear my voice, going to have your ass here on Sunday night.
Oh man. And hit the like button while you're here. Once again, Sipping on Sundays on a Monday, Mr. Campbell, Zoe Phillips, Off Script Network, the Rocky Miller channel, no matter where you're watching us on, however you're doing it, we appreciate you being here, man. And like, we got a lot of stuff to talk about because let me tell you got folks mad down there in Tallahassee. You got folks mad up there in Jackson. You got folks mad down there in Grambling. You got folks mad about who coming to SWAC Media Day. We got folks mad about polls, but you know what, though? See, we over here, we not mad about nothing. We just here to bring it down. But, so you know me, I got to bring a little news to us. So here's the thing, man. I saw this, and this is what just goes to show you the man is always going to be the man. So black folks try to do right. They go to the PWIs, and you know what I'm saying? They want to support their peers, which I have no problem with because everybody can't go to HBCU, right? Everybody. So if you
everybody ain't look.
I don't care. Just go. But this right here, I called this. I said, we got to talk about this right here. So down there at UNC W. Wilmington, I believe that's North
That's
Carolina,
it.
Wilmington Scout. Honoring the late physician, Dr. Leroy Upperman, could move to an HBCU after the request was made to change the requirement. That's all. White folks want them to change the requirement. Guess what they want to change it? So think about this. Now listen to this. A scholarship fund honoring the late physician, Dr. Leroy Upperman, will have to find a new home. Upperman passed away in 1996, but his commitment to education remains upheld by his family. In 1995, the family established the University of North Carolina, Wilmington Upperman African American Cultural Center. Not Scout Center. Additionally, the family has supported students in the university by awarding scholarships. But according to WHQR, the scholarship required an interest in areas related to African American students. They were primarily rewarded to a student of color, though that wasn't a requirement. The university has maintained a black student population, how about that, of a whopping nearly 5% for more than 10 years per outlet, though the number was under 4% in the fall, with a higher rate for graduate students at 12%. Students who received a scholarship was mentored by Upperman's daughter, Linda Upperman Smith. The family increased its commitment to $1 million in 2025, and through its endowment, $40,000, about 4% in the scholarship can be distributed annually. However, the students at the school will no longer receive the award. Now listen to this. Let me make this big, real big here. The university has requested change to the scholarship requirement, particularly removing of the line. Special consideration will be given to students who have demonstrated experience and commitment to working with fill in the blank community. I was told, fill in the blank, working with, African American community, black, colored, whatever you wanted, what that man was saying. I was told that because of change the Board of Governors DEI guidelines, I could rewrite the award to take African American part for the scholarship. Now, this is what Upperman Smith said. This is a woman. I discussed it with my adult sons, and we decided the climate may never change. There is no way we're not going to follow my father's wishes for the money to go to an African American student. So we're not changing the word. The university has replaced a diversity, equity, include DEI with equality policy. Equality. Creating a lot of gray area for grad scholarships, says school vice chancellor. There are currently 18 scholarships at the university that claims are no longer in compliance with policy change. Guess who them 18 scholarships probably went to? I'll let y'all figure that out. We realize that only through compelled speech can you really evaluate someone's interest and commitment, because you would have to ask them. You could use race as a proxy. So you're kind of stuck. Upperman Smith will now move the scholarship to an institution more likely to award to a black student. The family is considering Howard, where Dr. Upperman had attended medical school. One thing about black folks, we've always made things work. Now, Zoe, the white man said, now this is these folks' money. Scholarships to help people go to school. And the man said, nah, we ain't gonna allow y'all to do that. Because the new rules of DEI. Can't go. I mean, come on, man. It's just like at this stage of the game. And when I saw this, and again, shout out to them for setting up the scholarship. I'm assuming maybe he went to undergrad at WNC Wilmington. Like I say, he went to once again with the medical school at Howard, which they probably should have set up right there. But no problem. I'm not worried about that. 4% only attend that school, but I'm not going to talk about that either. But Zoe, they only got 4% black folk, and they don't even want that.
Hey, I just say fulfill their wishes. Pull them all out. Go to Howard.
Got to get, hey, listen.
Hey, man, sometimes you got to give people what they want, bro. Give them what they want.
That is crazy. The level of hatred. Hey, what's up? What's in my people? That $1 million. Now, mind you, they get money servicing that money too now, so okay? So remember, this goes into a bigger pot. Now, mind you, have the $1 million, but guess what they're doing? They're investing that $1 million to make money off of it, so. So it's not like that $1 million just sitting there. They're taking that $1 million of that man's hard work and money, and it's two things that happen. The return on investment goes to grow that funding, the scholarship, but guess what? And I know this for a fact, and my people that's in here know it too. See, when you have a foundation account, guess what they do? They have a service fee for you, so just to make sure to service that money. Now, I understand, you know what I'm saying? I'm not investing the money. I got to pay them to make sure that our endowment for FAMU is taken care of. So you're not gonna tell me they're not benefiting from that.
I just say give them what they want, because guess what? That 4% don't sound like a lot, right? But that's just UNC Wilmington, man. Let that 4% roll over to North Carolina Central. Let another 4% or 10% from UNC go to North Carolina A&T. You know what I'm saying? Let another 6 or 7% from North Carolina State head over to Fayetteville. You see what I'm saying? You keep adding that 4%. That 4% plus another 4% turns to 8%. You think A&T, as big as it is, you think they wouldn't mind getting another 12% increase? You think Fayetteville State wouldn't mind a 16% increase? I mean, that's why, to me, I felt like when all this DEI stuff happened, I felt like it should be an uptick like it was when Different World came out, when it was this boom of people from across the country going to HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, look, if they can't appreciate it, man, give people what they want, man. Don't let people play in your face. When you see where it is, I always say, man, look, when people show you who they are and they show you how they move, man, look, it's on you. Now, if you choose to sit there and deal with that, then you the fool. But once somebody show you how to deal with them, it's on you to trust them to be what they showed you and move in order. So my thing is that 4% don't even need to be there. Man, go where you celebrate and appreciate it. I mean, because guess what? We've been going, listen, man, at this point, we've been going and had the ability to go to all these different schools. And yet and still, in the year of our Lord, 2026, as y'all can hear my voice, the greatest asset for African Americans to matriculate in this country has come by way of attending the HBCU, getting your degree, and then getting your master's. It's tried and true. And that has not changed. HBCUs, I'm sorry, has put more professional people in the workplace more than any other realm of collegiate experience in this country. That's not my opinion. That's fact. That's fact. And so why we feel like, oh, because again, and I've had parents who went to HBCUs, oh, but yeah, you go over here, it's better for you to go get a job. That's not true. It's simply not true. It's not. We are our own network. But again, we sit here and devalue our own stuff. But at the end of the day, man, that 4% just needs to go to an HBCU. We need, I mean, all these low numbers at these schools, man, you're not even in a 1%. And seriously, we're not. We're not. The only thing that helps you be in that minority is it may have a way of giving you a scholarship that you probably otherwise wouldn't have gotten in the HBCU because there's more of you there. Because you get some type of minority scholarship. Let's just keep it a buck. Outside of that, man. And look, I understand everybody can go to HBCU, and that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
But a hell of a lot more of us should be there. That's for damn sure. Because we're going over here, you in Michigan, but you want to go to the University of Michigan. You know, and I get it. But man, only a few of you gonna actually get the benefit of being there. It ain't gonna be like it in masses. I'm just keeping it a buck. So man, again, it's man, spitting in your face, disrespecting you. I mean, look at the look at the unmitigated gall, bro. You got a scholarship by way of a black man, and then you want to change the language because of some other stuff to say, oh, we know why you made this, but because of this, we ain't gonna do this no more. And we gonna choose who we want to give it to, though you created it. You see what I'm saying? You created it for how it needs to go. And now you're just gonna lose it all together. I mean, cut your nose off to spite your face. Like, that's crazy.
You know, I'm gonna go here, and I gotta go. I try not to, because this is, as they say, very slippery slope. But I'm just curious. If this was a Jewish scholarship, if this was a Jewish scholarship, you think they cut that scholarship?
Hey man, sound good when you say it.
You know, so and this is no to my and this is not anything to my Jewish, but I'm just making a point. Is that I guarantee you they would not have cut that scholarship. They would figure out a way to have made that work. Where Steve, the people that was intended, now mind you, that wasn't, because the bottom line is for the people that the scholarship is intended for. For the people that the scholarship is intended for. So I find it amazing. And again, so this man, and like I say, shout out to him that he wanted to see other people educated, come to that school, give them opportunity. Because, you know, I had a conversation, and I won't get too far in. I met a doctor today. Brother went to some small school in Jersey, but he was from North Carolina, Shelby. And he said, bro, that was a sundown town. That was his daddy went to A&T, and I'm pretty sure he went to a little small car to get away from this little sundown town. But just talking to this brother and listening to him, and the one thing he said, man, one thing about you HBCU folks, because he played golf with a lot of HBCU people, you know a lot of FAMU people. He's an alpha, matter of fact. He's alpha. Shout out to you ain't all the alpha. Israel might be in here too. Shout out to all the alphas in the building. But he was like, man, I wish I would have went to HBCU. Because you guys, I meet all these people. I play golf with all these people, all these my frat brothers, and they went to this school and that school. I know all these FAMU Beta new guys. And he felt that he really missed out. And I said, man, well, your daddy went to A&T. You should have went follow where your daddy went. But I can just tell by the brother that sundown town, which again, so you know, we from Mississippi. I know we know people that, hey man, they go to, I mean, they be going halfway around the world because it scarred them so bad. You know, shout out to Israel.
Stanky ranking.
So yeah, shout out to Israel. One time Jackson, Mississippi. So
and see, I'm gonna say this too. Let's not get it confused. DEI, just put an X through that and just say black.
Well, yeah.
Just DEI, just say black. Point blank period.
Yeah. Hey, stay well. We're gonna talk about that because we're gonna definitely get to that. So yeah, hey, well, hold on, what do you say? Shelby no longer a sundown town 2 minutes. Hey, listen. Listen. Now, Kim, I'm just wait a minute, hold on. I want to be very. He's from there. That's what he said. I'm not saying because I don't know. I know where it's at because my people from Fayetteville. But he's saying growing up and his daddy know growing up, it was a sundown town. Not that it is now. He said it was. So that's all I'm saying.
I tell you what. I know a Shelby that ain't a sundown town. Shelby, Mississippi.
Hold on, so you bring it up a little bit.
I said Shelby, Mississippi. I said I know a Shelby that's not a sundown town. Shelby, Mississippi.
Hey, oh boy, that's blacker than black. But hold on, I gotta tell y'all this one story. Hold on. Now, this is a funny story that he said. He said in Shelby, during the 4th of July, the Klan would have a parade. And when they would have the parade, y'all, the Klan would have their hoods on. So his mama told him and his brother, when the Klan marched by, don't look at the hoods, look at the shoes. I want y'all to pay attention to the shoes. So he said, you know, they were marching by and he saw this guy, let's just say he's black leather shoes.
Steve, you froze.
Okay, there we go. He blanked out for a second. So you can hear me, right?
Yeah, I hear you now.
So he said he was in the 5th grade. So he said he went. Now we're talking about Shelby, North Carolina, not Shelby, Mississippi. This story, Shelby, North Carolina. He says, oh, he went to school and the principal came up to him. And I ain't gonna say the guy. Let's say his name is Joe. Hey there, Joe. How you doing there this morning? Hey there, Mr. White Man. How you doing? He said, did you have a happy 4th of July? He said, Mr. White Man, I sure did. He said, what did you do? I went to the parade. Oh, you went to the parade? Yeah, I went to the parade. Mr. White Man, I didn't know you were part of the Ku Klux Klan. He said, I did not know that you were part of the Ku Klux Klan.
And be shamed that you put him on blast.
Boy, put him on blast. He said that man got up out of his face so quick. Got him out of his face so quick. I said, come on, man. So you know what? So I'm just gonna tell y'all. Now, I thought that was ingenious. You see, shout out to old black people that think like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that was his mama passing down some straight knowledge. So if you see these jokers, whoever them jokers was in DC marching with they, you know what I'm saying? Don't look at the mask though. Do not look at the mask. Look at them shoes. Because I swear to God, if I see a cat, and I'll be like, wait a minute, dog. I think I know you. You ain't never seen me before. Now I seen them shoes, my boy. I seen them shoes. Hey man, listen, that was dope right there. That was a dope little story. When he told me that, I said, hey man, that's a good one right there.
Well, I do want to tell you a little story about that.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It wasn't shoes, but you know, I told you my mom's side of the family from Coldwater, Mississippi, and Cottonville,
Coldwater. Yep.
and Arkansas, Mississippi, man. Shout out my cousin, man, James Earl Jones. I told you about that. But it was said, it was a known thing that back then you could also tell because, you know, they didn't wear gloves, right? Whenever they would do what they do. So the thing is, sometime when they would have a demonstration, you know, which was rare because, you know, most time they met up at night when they do what they did, right? But sometime when they got to the point, not in the 60s, but like early 70s, when they would do like these little marching stuff, you could tell who was who that was their local if they had tattoos like on their wrists and on their on their hands. You know what I'm saying? And so people they would take photos and then they would match up to know, you know, certain people that had tattoos on their hands, their fingers, and on their wrists, and they could match up and, oh yeah, that's so and so and so and so. Because most of the time it will be people from the town that they're from, but also nearby towns in the region, I would say. So it's almost like if you did North Mississippi, they may be a good portion of them be like all throughout the Delta. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then they meet up. It's almost like they had chapters, you know what I'm saying? You rarely ever had, you know what I'm saying, the KKK from down here in Stankin Rankin. You know, it was horrible. Rankin County was horrible. But then it's like they weren't coming up to the Delta for the most part. You see what I'm saying? You know, only time they would have somebody do something be like somebody come from out of town, like what's my guy named Sam Bowers from Alabama that bombed, you know what I'm saying, 6th Street Baptist Church.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He would come to Mississippi, you know what I'm saying, because he had a relative or some shit like that when he was the one who terrorized and got the civil rights workers out of Philadelphia. So I just wanted to say a lot of times they would take pictures. They would know from matching tattoos from their hands, their fingers, and their wrists.
No, big time, man. Big time. So, man, just wanted to tell y'all that, man, a little story, man. So, you know, once again, hey, man, put your money. You know what? So all my people, you know, that's listening, if you went to a PWI, hey, man, trust me, there's an HBCU near you that will be glad to take that scholarship. Treat you really, really good. So, like I say, so don't get that much to them white folks, man, because they're gonna do you like that. That's just disrespectful. But Zoe, I'm gonna shift gears because, you know, this is Sipping on Sundays. People want to hear, you know, SWAC Media Day, all that stuff. But so I saw something that was pretty interesting.
What you see, man?
Well, you know, them folks down there in Grambling, they trying to make some moves. So let me show you what I saw, the little graphic that came up here. Guess who's coming to dinner? So RJ Johnson is coming to Grambling. He went up there to UMass, left FAMU, got him when Quinn came there. Quinn said, hey, bro, probably best you gonna make your way on up out of there. RJ had a rough down there FAMU. With just, you know, he came down there one year. And again, you know, people, you know, I heard people, oh, well, his stats were great. Well, I saw that Jack State loss. I saw that Alabama State loss. Who else blew us out of there? Them 3 games in a row. So did we play South Carolina State? Whoever, it was another team that just blew. I remember Alabama State and Jack State right off the rip. And we lost to Valley too. And we lost to Bethune. See, all that.
Well, just so you know, toward the end of last season, you know that RJ was really jarring. That's what we call him.
So, you know, so he goes up there.
He was really jarring, dog. That Jack State game. Woo.
Bro, hey, listen, I'll tell you this. At that Jack State game, or the Alabama State game, so I have media passes. So I go and I get to ask the coach a question. You know what I mean? So I go down, I'm on the sideline. I see my Jack State folks. Shout out to them. We was at the game. So I go and I ask Coach, I say, hey, Coach, we're watching the game. And I want to say it was a Jack State game. And Jack State was like giving a cushion because they didn't believe nobody could beat them deep, which was true. We didn't have nobody, you know. But we were like, Coach, RJ's not even throwing the ball past 3 yards. Not so hear what I said. Not 5, not 8, past 3. We had it, and we asked him, why do you think that happened? You know what he said? I don't know. I'll have to ask. Like, you have to ask why we ain't paying for 3 yards. So, hey, so needless to say, RJ felt it wasn't a fit. He went up to UMass. Now, mind you, Zoe, football season just ended in December. He went to UMass when the transfer portal opened and signed. We were like, okay, that's pretty impressive that he went to UMass. But here's the thing. According to him, something just didn't work out up there at UMass. Now, I ain't gonna get in that boy business. I'm not gonna get in that cat's business, but I know what happened, but it just didn't work out. So let me tell you so when I saw him get in the portal, I swear to God, and anybody that knows me that we were talking about this, I said, how much you want to bet that RJ either heads to Valley or Grambling? And guess what he's at? I told people this was going to happen because I just had a feeling because he was in the SWAC and actually played. He said, you know what? I'm going to come back. So he's back to SWAC. So does this strike fear into the Jackson State Tigers when y'all play Grambling down there out in the hole?
No, let me just say this too. And I'm gonna say this from a real neutral place. If you've been to multiple locations and it's still the same stuff, you're not finna scare nobody. And let me say this too. I don't care who the quarterback coach is. And saying, oh, so and so's the new quarterback coach, oh, the quarterback room loaded. Let me fill y'all in on a little secret. Everybody quarterback room is loaded if that's the case. They all are. They all got 4, 5, 6 bodies in them. But let me just say this. And I'm not trying to attack the kid whatsoever, right? But that Jackson State game, and I'm a Jack State alum and fan. Mm-hmm. That game was a huge indictment on him. I'm not putting nothing on Cozy because you talk about 3-yard passes all you want to. I'm going to look at the bad decision making with the ball because there were plenty of times where on certain things in that game, what he saw and where he was going to, it was bad decision making all game long.
Right.
So I'm gonna start there. Now, granted, there can be a lot of things that run into that, right? Say inconsistencies with the OC. You know what I'm saying? It's toward the end of the year pressure because he had strung quite a few games together back to back with bad play. You know what I'm saying? A coach is on the hot seat to get fired. All that plays into bad ball at that particular point. So we get this. But bro, when I'm talking about bad decision after bad decision, what up, Blue? Bad decision after bad decision during that game. He played bad games before then, but I'm speaking solely on the Jack State game because that was a model. That was a whooping. And it wasn't so much how good Jackson State defense played, though they did. It was really how inept FAMU's offense was. We can speak to the 3-yard passes, but Steve, there were so many times when they didn't do that, and it was just bad decision with regard to the location of where we're going to the ball. It was solely on the quarterback a lot. And something we're going to touch into a little bit here. If you have borderline bad to bad quarterback play, I don't care what else you have on offense. It ain't going to go. You can have a good O-line. If you got bad decision making and bad quarterback play, it's gonna negate all the other good that you have. If I got these great weapons at receiver, but I got bad decision making and I can't give them the ball and I'm making bad decisions, it's gonna negate all the positive that you have. And that's why I said after that game, he was really jarring. And I said that after the game, it was bad. And again, he was at UMass beforehand. Man, he didn't light anything up to put fear in your heart, even when he was transferring in. So him going to Grambling is not something they're going to sit there and stoke any, forget the word fear. It's not moving the needle at all. And again, he's, even with him transferring in, he's not a threat to start. He's literally battling for backup position. Let's just keep it a buck. Let's just keep it a buck. And honestly, we don't even know. He may have actually, the only foolproof way to get out of the portal is to walk on. That's a fact. He may have actually walked on the Grambling. I got to take what I can get to finish out my last year and be somewhere in a familiar conference. So again, this ain't moving the needle.
Israel definitely not. I can tell you that. Because we
I will say I'm not discrediting that. Yes, it is some of it was on the O line, but what's the key word? Some of it. even in a good game and the quarterback is playing good, I could put some busted plays on the O-line. I could put, you know what I'm saying? I could put some busted plays on the running back. That's why, again, if I could sit there and say you had 75 snaps, you're not gonna have 75 good snaps, are you, Steve?
No.
So again, I'm not putting all the blame on him, but the majority of it was.
Yeah. So I tell you what, when let me say this, and this is one thing about it. Sippin' on Sundays, Off Script Network, Zoe Phillips, Mr. Campbell, Rocky Miller Channel, man, HBCU News and Notes, everything that's going on, man. The Sippin' on Sundays on a Monday. So listen, this is why I'll say to RJ, bro, I'm glad you in the HBCU atmosphere, you got another chance. Hey, man, listen, because I'm just gonna say it. Everybody know it ain't no secret. My guy Bruce Eugene going down to the ground. And I'm gonna tell you one thing I do know about Bruce Eugene. He know how to coach quarterbacks. He know how to coach football. So I don't know who's gonna be the quarterback because, like the Grambling people say, he ain't even gonna be the starter. And like you said, Zoe, so we don't even know he's gonna play. But what I will say to RJ, hey man, listen to Bruce Eugene. Listen to that brother and learn how to play quarterback. And then we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Because you think, that's one thing. This kind of goes back to the thing. It's always HBCU that'll give you another chance, another shot. Always HBCU. So, hey, man, do what you're supposed to do. Get down there with your Kappa brothers, hang out. And I'm going to tell you something, man, too. I know those folks down there, those are my people. Go down there playing no games because they know what quarterback play look like because they have legends that play quarterback.
I don't know if that's Lionel. What's up, Lionel?
Yeah, there it is. So, so that's the thing about it. So, Zoe, we got to get, I'm going to get in this one little thing. I did see this, and this is really for my Prairie View people because this was pretty funny to me. And I need the Prairie View people to answer this question. So, guess what? People always talking about people's stadiums, right?
Mm-hmm.
FAMU Stadium this, Jack State Stadium this, Prairie View Stadium this, Grand Lake Stadium. But one thing they always really say is who don't have a stadium. And the thing I saw in this little article, and we just going to share it, that I guess these folks down here in Houston.
Well, technically they do. They do. No, I'm talking. They got one on campus. They do.
Okay. Do they play in it?
The last time was I think about 2-3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. They do a homecoming there. Homecoming there.
Well, allegedly, Texas Southern is going to get a new football stadium in a $1.7 billion campus overhaul. So they got a whole master plan. Lionel showed the video looked like from PlayStation 1, though, the little video. They got to tighten that up. And they said it's going to hey, man, look, that video, like, bro, that was PlayStation 1 quality. Resident Evil.
Oh, man.
That plays a new football stadium at the center of a long-term vision of modernize the HBCU. University officials say the proposed stadium, part of a broader relocation of the track and field facilities, will see approximately 10,000 fans and serve as a cornerstone redesigned athletic district. Now, hold on. Now, this is where the shade was at right here. Who wrote this article? Okay. I'm about to say, who wrote this article? Because here's the shade right here. Let me make this big. This is shade. And I bet you Kendrick wrote this. The so-called master plan.
Wow.
So-called is part of a 10-year, 3-phase plan to reshape the Houston campus with updated academic build student housing. If completed, another shade, the new venue will mark a significant shift in TSU football, offering a more modern-day environment on campus. So, so here you go. So listen, so this is on the screen. See, this is what I'm telling you.
Yeah. Look, I'm gonna say
what is this?
Look, I'm gonna say this. Look, if y'all don't know by now, man, people on the SWAC are petty. So, Kendrick, I'm just gonna word from the wise now because I'm telling you, I deal with them. Now, if you ever try to go to Houston, catch you a Texas Southern game and try to get me your credentials, don't say nothing if you get denied. Because I promise you, somebody got this and they're gonna hang on to it. Trevor, when I tell you.
Oh, listen. And like I said, if he didn't, like I said, let me see. Because but I'm gonna tell you, hold on. Now, let me tell you what. Now, hey, shout out to my boy. These my folks on HBCU support. Now, all the articles they write, they write, they name be on it. Why ain't nobody name on this? Why is it about HBCU sports?
I'm telling you. It don't matter.
Somebody get Kim Rashard on the phone.
Listen,
we
it don't matter.
Investigate who wrote this article.
Listen, it don't matter. They will block the whole. Oh, your HBCU sports. Oh no, you can't come here. Look, I'm telling you now, man. Black folk got sensitive skin. A lot of black folk got sensitive skin, especially in that SWAC office, dog. In some of these schools, they got they thin skin, dog. You say anything, they're gonna be out for you for eternity.
Well, hey, listen, I'm not reporting the news. They wrote that article, and they wrote the shade in the article. Because when I saw it, I'm like, come on.
So-called master plan. That's
so-called. Boy,
that's disrespectful.
That is big shade right there. So listen, man, TSU, like I say, man, prove them folks wrong. Get you a nice little 10,000 seat stadium, pack the thing out, and then then folk from Prairie View won't be around there running your videos looking like PlayStation 1. You know what I'm saying? So come on, man.
Because I'm gonna tell you what the problem is, Steve. Because here's the thing: it's not a so-called plan; it's an actual legit plan. Just may not get executed. See, that's the difference. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Gotta be careful how you word stuff, dog.
So, that's what it is. So we're gonna move on because now everybody knows that time of the year, and people coming out with these polls and power rankings and things like that. So it's two things I want to show you. Stan Beckton, who I think people be tearing Stan up. Stan ain't no HBCU. I think with the Indiana, but he does.
I got a lot to say about this too, dog.
So your man Stan comes up with the HBCU power rankings. Now Stan was the one, and people took this out of context, and FAMU allowed it to be taken out of context. That year that we were on probation, and we had actually beat A&T and actually won the conference. Stan said that we were the number one team in HBCU football. Of course, FAMU ran with it and said we were national champions. But I'm just saying. I didn't agree with that, but rattlers gonna rattle. You know what I mean? So your boy Stan here, he come out with the power rankings though. Mr. Indiana. I think he went to Indiana, and that's shade too. So I don't care. He'll be all right. But this is what he got though. The road to Atlanta. 2026 football preseason power rankings. Let's see what we got. Gonna roll on down. Number one, Alabama State. Alabama State is his preseason number one entering 2026 HBCU football season. While the Hornets have yet to make a SWAC championship game in 4 years since Eddie Robinson took over as coach. Shout out to E-Rob, my guy. E-Rob, that ain't your fault because you know what? You had to face FAMU and Jack State. Hey, man, that's a hard road. Hey, listen. You finished third. You finished second last year. You can only go up. Alabama State returns to stats perform HBCU Player of the Year, Andrew Bonney, top player in all HBCU, and his instant impact transfer from Frank Pierre, who's coming from Alabama A&M, and running back Jamari Holesclaw in the backfield. And the offense should be one of the best in the SWAC. So
highlight that last comment right there for me, Steve.
About the defense?
No, right here, the last comment. There shouldn't be an inner poll till week 4. Highlight that.
No. Till week 4. So you agree with that?
No. There should be a preseason poll. So I'm finna get on the soapbox. Number one, first thing I'm gonna tell y'all, unpopular opinion. Me personally, I think it's asinine to have a top 10 poll between two conferences that only have 18 teams.
Wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because we got 12 and they got 6. Okay, I'm like, hold on. Yeah, you're right.
So me personally, right, I think it's asinine. I'm going to say it again, to have a top 10 out of 18 teams, right? So hold on. Let me tell you where I'm going with this. Because if you're going to do it the way that they're talking about doing it, to get that to segue to make it to the Celebration Bowl, where it's almost like saying we're going to pit the top 2 teams, number 1 versus number 2, which is what they're selling, which is what we're going to do, and that's fine. Then what makes the most logical sense is to have a top 5, and then everything else is honorable mention, because it's only 18 teams. So what's going to end up happening because of how we schedule, right?
Yeah,
you're going to have team 6 through 10 with losing records, and that's not attractive for a poll.
Right.
So you go top 5 because as the season go on, it's going to make more sense. But let me say this: we're going to post that in a second. So now when we talk about preseason poll, yes, there absolutely should be a preseason poll. But I hear people saying, oh, for example, now I will say, obviously, in my estimation, the most logical sense for me, and I'm gonna make sure I say this, South Carolina State should have been number one, but I'm not gonna have take exception with Alabama State being somebody's preseason number one.
Right.
The way it's supposed to be done when we talk about a preseason poll, I want y'all to hear me loud and clear. There is only, you factor in how a team finished the previous season, that is factored into, but you segue into what is happening from the end of last season going into a new season, right? So Alabama State, that's why I can understand it. Alabama State has Andrew Body, offensive preseason player of the year. We see the type of season that he had last year. Alabama State retained certain players. You see what I'm saying? So logically, I can understand it. It's not the fact that, and also Alabama State, though they only had one win against a team 500 or better, similar to Jackson State, even though they lost that game, it's what they returned for this season. And they won 10 games, I believe, last year, right? 9 or 10 wins. They had won 9 or 10 games. So that makes logical reason for them to be a preseason number one going into this season. You can make an argument for them. You may not agree with it, but they're in the argument. Nobody can dispute that. Okay. Jackson State. Okay. Jackson State lost a lot, but with the way that Jackson State recruited, and Jackson State is also living off of what they've done from a consistency standpoint. That's why they can have them in the fray in the top three. You can make an argument for Jackson State, but I'm not going to sit there and say, yes, Jackson State should be number one, but you can make an argument for Jackson State being the top three. Where they fall 2 or 3, that's up for debate. South Carolina State, the defending national champion, when you look at what they returned, again, it's not who they beat last year and how they finished, because, again, if they lost so many guys off their team, it doesn't matter. It's what they return, how they've transitioned. You see what I'm saying? With some continuity. Now it's Chinsbury's third season, you know what I'm saying? Forecasting what you think they're going to do, as well as the schedule that they have. You can make an argument for South Carolina State to be number one. We cannot dispute that. Now, how they fall, that's a matter up for debate. But let me just say this. For people to take exception because, the poll is not good because the team that I like is not where I think they should be, that I don't respect that poll, is hogwash. You need debate. And that's why we say it's debatable. So if you honestly can't see Alabama State, Jackson State, or South Carolina State 1, 2, and 3, again, you can mix and match all you want to. I'm on the record for telling you I don't think Jackson State should be number one. Because, again, the thing is different, obviously, because of, Lockhart, as great as we know he's going to be, going through a sophomore season, is he going to have a sophomore slump? Because Jackson State, unlike Alabama State and unlike South Carolina State, they have more question marks than those two schools. So for that alone, that's why I said, okay, that could ding Jackson State for being preseason number one. But damn, being a run-up in the conference title game and still come back preseason number 2 in the national poll, I don't have a problem with that. Or number 3, to be honest with you, Steve. But this whole thing, like, oh, man, this poll is trash because Alabama State is number 1. Well, they have an argument. They have a legit argument. Prairie View, I just saw the comment. Prairie View lost a quarterback. But again, all the Prairie View fans, you can feel how you want to feel about players on your team. We don't know. We don't know it, right? You do, but we don't know it. So until you see it on the field, you can see Prairie View being number 4 or number 3. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, if Prairie View was bringing Cam Peters back, I will sit there and tell you Prairie View probably should be number 1 preseason poll. They lost the national championship game, but they're bringing their quarterback back. You see what I'm saying? And they had a great recruiting class. That's how you do that. But to sit here and be like, this poll is ridiculous because how in the world is, Jackson State not number 1? This poll is trash. Or Alabama State, there's no way they should be number 1. Alabama State should not be above Jackson State because Jackson State beat them last year. Jackson State beating Alabama State has nothing to do with a pro for 2026.
No. But let's get to the people that's really offended. Okay. So we got Jackson State too, which you talked about. South Carolina State, which we're going to look at another poll. ain't number 3. They come in number 3. Now, why does my man Stan say that? He said because the reason South Carolina State is number 1 because they lost both their quarterbacks. Beyond the question on the center, South Carolina State is the top team in the MEAC until proven otherwise, especially with the favorable schedule. Games against Central and Delaware State at home in the final 2 weeks of the season. And the non-conference slate is not too intimidating. And additionally, is our reminder, Chen's Bear has not lost a conference game. Now here, boy, you know them folks down there in Texas was 38 hot when they saw this right here. Stan had a number 4. Prairie View should be the favorite in the West, but questions surround the quarterback position can keep them below a few in the SWAC. So you said it. And what have I always said? If you got the quarterback, more likely you're going to be favored now. So guess what? The 2 teams in the SWAC ahead of them, guess what they got?
Returning quarterback.
Returning quarterbacks. So Stan, I kind of understood his logic in this. I really did. Because, you know, I'm a big believer if you got a quarterback. But this was the one that blew my mind right here. This was the one that, and now mind you, this ain't a SWAC poll. This is the HBCU poll. And you're going to tell me that he got Grambling number 5 and talking about they're getting the FBS transfer. That's the quarterback that RJ's going to be fighting with. Jacoby Robinson won the job before the spring game. So that's the starter. And a defense they could build off being number 3 in the SWAC. The G-men, he said they could be special, though. Now, this was the one that I thought was interesting, Delaware State at number 6. Great record, Sean Jackson's first year. He said, however, DSU will have the former freshman All-American quarterback Marcus Adams back, Abbott from a knee injury. If he or a different quarterback open up the offense, the Hornets could contend. Number 7 was Texas Southern.
So logically, the error in this poll, in my opinion, is the number 6 slot. There's no way, in my estimation, that Grambling should be over Delaware State. But also, in my estimation, because again, this is what I'm telling you guys about having a top 10 poll. Because watch this, go to number 8. Go to number 8.
Okay. All right, so we got Texas Southern. Let's get in there. And guess what? Dishman got a quarterback a lot of people know around the SWAC. Cameron McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming to Texas Southern.
Go to number 8.
Number 8, Alcorn. What you got for him, Zoe?
Now, because I would say Alcorn deserves to be over Texas Southern.
I 100% agree with that.
Alcorn deserves to be over Texas Southern. I know people will look at the record, but again, it's not what all happened last year. You factor that in, but it's what has happened since the end of the season last year to this year. Alcorn has, in my estimation, when you look within the SWAC, right? If we look at all 12 teams in the SWAC, Alcorn has a top 5 quarterback in the conference. Returning. Texas Southern don't. They don't. The same thing that I said about RJ, I can say about Cam McCoy. He's been to 2 stops. And what have you seen? What have you seen? So, but again, it's look, he may have whatever metric that he has, right? Because here's another travesty. How you got Central this low? How you got Central under Texas Southern?
I'm just like, man.
So you see what I'm saying? So, but again,
the disrespect of my man Trey Oliver.
But here's the thing. But this is why I say there should not be a top 10 poll. I'm telling you, it will look better. It will present itself better. You go top 5 and then do honorable mention. You can still do votes. You said by the number to get to that 5th spot. Because only the top 2 are going to the Celebration Bowl. Top 5 is the way to go because you can justify top 5 out of 18. Top 10 out of 18.
Mr. Body in the house.
What's going on? What's going on, Mr. Body? So
Sundays on a Monday.
So you see what I'm saying? So I'm like, that's why you have to sit there and go top 5 and then honorable mention on the rest.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. And Stan, you know what? Hey, if you listen to stuff, bro, come on the show because you got to justify this. Because I'm gonna tell you, I got Trey Oliver's number, and that's my guy. This level of disrespect will not be tolerated on this show for my friend Trey Oliver to say he is number 9 on anybody's poll. You're
I'm gonna tell you like this.
It's 9 teams better than North Carolina Central. I
And
don't care what they coming back with.
And if you know Trey Oliver, he not gonna say this to his team, but if you talk to him, he done seen this.
Oh, bro, listen, my boy Trey. They told me if I bring my Escalade up, they put them on bricks. Come on, man. Trey is straight gangster. Come on, man. Listen.
He not gonna say it to the team, but I promise you, Trey Oliver has seen this.
Hey, bro, this is entertaining. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Hey, man, Trey, I know you watch, bro. Holla at your boy, because you need to come in and talk about the disrespect. I know you be checking us out, sipping on Sundays on a Monday. Trey, holla at your boy, because I need you to answer this. Because this right here, Zoe, Trey Oliver.
Yeah, man.
Come on, man. So that leads us into another little poll. Because you folks, and let me pull it, because I got a little, me, I got a little article for you. Little something here. Look, where's that thing? Here we go. Where is it? There we go. So the Black College Football poll, new polls, though, come out. So I'm going to, there you go. Come on here. Well, ain't no problem.
What's up, Doc?
So they got their polls on. So you know what? Let me show. Oops. Hold on. This is messed up a little bit. So let me do it this way. I'm gonna actually show the graphic, and I'll get to the. There we go. All right. This is their polls, though. Inaugural, not first annual, people. Inaugural. And then becomes second annual for all y'all. If y'all see anybody put first annual, smack them. Because there's no such thing as first annual. Okay? That's a big pet peeve of mine. So if y'all have your little parties and your little thing, don't ever put first annual. It's inaugural and second annual. Okay?
Hey, it puts me in mind of every time back in the day a Jamaican came on with a song with the first thing he say, "This one is an original."
I mean, my boys that be throwing that party, boy, they think they got a big joint. The first annual white part, bro. Ain't no first annual. Come on, man. So, all right, here we go. So, let's get back to it. So, they big poll. So they poll ain't matching up to your boy Stan. They got South Carolina State number 1, Prairie View number 2, Jackson State number 3, and Stan's number 1 team at 4. Then at 5, with respect, Trey Oliver, Delaware State at number 6, Grambling at 7, Bethune at 8, Texas Southern at 9, and Florida A&M at 10. So now I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know who actually votes for this. I need somebody, I'm gonna figure that out, who votes for this and all this good stuff. Now, this poll right here, I can rock with this poll.
Now, Steve, blow it up.
I can defend this poll right here. I can defend it.
Blow it up some, Steve.
Okay.
But I'm gonna tell you. Now, here's where I'm gonna go with this poll, right? I agree with this poll. Okay. So the thing I want people to understand is, even if you see this poll, and let's just say you may feel, oh man, Alabama State is too low. Man, they should be at least number 2. Here's the thing. You very well could be right. But if you only feel one thing is out of place, then guess what? That's a damn good poll.
Right. Then
the poll is done what it's supposed to done. Everybody's not going to agree every time with all selections. But man, I can make a damn good case for this poll to be spot on. Think about what we just said, right? Alabama State's number 4, but South Carolina State's number 1. But here's the thing. To me, in my opinion, Alabama State, Prairie View, South Carolina State, you can make an argue for number 1. I'm not going to say Jackson State just solely because we have more question marks with more players coming in than the others. But again, we recruit at a higher clip than everybody else in the top 4. So again, that's going to give you a leg up, right? But also, when we talked about just on the previous poll, what did we say? We said there's no way North Carolina Central should be under Texas Southern. You see what Central is in comparison to Texas Southern. Then also we said what? There's no way that Grambling should be above Delaware State. You see Grambling distinctly under Delaware State, but also look at the records from 1 down to 10.
Right.
Look at the records. So now you can see it kind of falls in line. Look at the first place votes. Look at the first place votes. Now, some people may say, oh, well, how is Jackson State and Alabama State under Prairie View? Because they may have more first place votes. It goes by total points or total votes. And that's why Prairie View is ahead of Jackson State. But also, why are we so in such an uproar on the first official poll for the season when you're going to get a poll every week? It's going to change. It's going to change. So,
well, I'm gonna tell you this. This poll right here, and I think somebody said it. This is out of all the polls. This is, and Israel hit it. You know, I like this. I like this thought process. They want something. I can go with that, even though that doesn't mean something always all the time. But it has value to what you're bringing back. We know what South Carolina State's bringing back. We know what Prairie View's bringing back. We know what Jackson State. We know Alabama State. Those first four, again, depending on who you're talking to, you can bring them up, down, round, and round. I like this poll, but I will say this. Me personally, I got to move Alabama State up. And the only reason why I'm moving Alabama State up because Andrew Body. And they got games against Jackson State, FAMU at home. And he returned his SWAC player, offensive player of the year. So I'm going to have, if this is my poll, I'm going to keep South Carolina, because I just believe in Chennis Barrett. 1-0. We're just going 1-0. And that 1-0 thing be meaning something. T-Jack, you know what I'm saying? I believe the coach, but I will say this too. I might put Alabama State ahead of them just because, again, I'm going to say they know their quarterback. So I think I'm going to have Alabama State. I'm going to have, you know what, now I think about it, I'm going to switch this around. I'm going to go South Carolina State 1. I'd go to Alabama State, and I'm basing this off a schedule a little bit too. I'd have you guys at 3 because of Lockhart, and I have Prairie View at 4. And the reason why I'm having Prairie View now, they might say they know what they got at quarterback. I'm not down there. This ain't PV versus everybody. He can break all that down of why they got a quarterback that don't nobody know nothing about that's gonna play. But the other guys, I know what coaching wise and quarterback wise, I know what Jackson State and Alabama State got, and that's why. But this poll overall, I think is a great poll. I think this poll is a really, really, really good poll. So
now see,
and this is endorsed by the conferences.
Yes, but let me say this too. While you can sit there and look at that screen, remember what I just told you. Now, when you look at that poll, I want you to just look at 1 through 5. Look at the records, look at the points, and then look at everybody else 6 through 10. Now you see why top 5 makes more sense.
Oh, easy. No,
because look at the top 5 right now. Look at the top 5. If you had a poll, these are the top 5 programs. Look at those records. Look at the votes. Now, once you look at those, then look at the difference when you go 6 through 10.
Right.
That is the reason why you shouldn't have. You can't sit there and say, "Oh man, Bethune-Cookman's ranked. They're 6-6, 5-3. Texas Southern is 6-5. FAMU at 10 is 5-7. Like you can't. It's doing the poll a disservice. It's going to look a whole lot better if you go top 5 in the rest of the
let me play devil's advocate. This is the poll for 2026. You use some of what you so I'm gonna defend FAMU. Okay. You got a brand new coach that won poll-wise the Black College D2 National Championship in Quinn Gray. You got Isaiah Knowles, who was the conference player of the year offensively. Got a new quarterback. So right now in the SWAC, like I say, he gonna be one of the top 4 quarterbacks. If you add Brown in there for Alabama A&M, so I can see why FAMU could be at 10. Because coaching, because here's the thing: if you're basing this off of what you're saying, I can tell you, which we talked about earlier, I can tell you 2 losses alone was coaching, and we would have been 7-5.
I get that, but guess how with everything you just said, guess how I can lace that. FAMU was high as an honorable mention to move up quickly as one. You know how you get the other receiving votes? I mean, FAMU, because they got a winning D2 coach, brought his quarterback in with him. Because guess what? I could put FAMU and say, you know what? FAMU was trending up better than Texas Southern. FAMU was trending up better than Bethune-Cookman. They're on par with Grambling as an honorable mention. And guess what? After week 1, hey man, if North Carolina Central or Alabama State or Jackson slip up, damn, FAMU is creeping up to be number 5. After week 2, FAMU is number 5. So again, a top 5, it looks better on paper. It's going to give more energy and credence to winning, because you don't need to sit there because when you're ranked, no matter how you splice it, there's a form of celebration in that. and good feeling, you know what I'm saying, and good energy as if we're thriving around here within our program. And we are accepting too much mediocrity because there is no way on God's green earth any team should be ranked 6 and 5 on anything. I'm just keeping it a buck. Nobody should be ranked to say, oh, yeah, we're the 5th ranked team. Number 5 play number 2. It's catfishing. We're lying to people. We're trying to fabricate something that ain't what it is. Because that's not a top 5 matchup, dog. It's not. Y'all can stop me when I start lying. It's not a top 5 matchup. But yeah, it is because they number 5. So, I mean, that's my point. But now if you go 1 through 5, it's going to hit different if you got a top 5 poll and number 5 playing number 1. They both got winning records. You can sell that. You can sell that on SWAC TV network, on SWAC TV, on the app. But man, you ain't finna sit there and sell, oh man, Bethune-Cookman, they went over in the non-conference slate. They won 4 games now. They're 4-4, they 500, and every team they beat got a losing record. They rank number 5 or number 6 in the top 10 poll, and they playing the number 2 ranked team. Come on, man. It's hogwash.
You telling me you're not excited about that number 7 Grambling versus Bethune-Cookman's matchup?
Man. That's hogwash.
Number 7 versus number 8.
Hey man, you even to spit on me and tell me it's raining, dog. Come on.
Number 7 versus number 8. So you know you're ready for that. Come on, man. Number 8 versus number 4 Alabama State. Come on, man. I know you're ready for that. Come on, man. I know you're ready for that. I know you're ready for that. So, Zoe, we got the polls out the way. On Wednesday, that I'm not invited to, due to my affiliation with the Off Script channel, it's SWAC Media Day. So you got a bunch of folks going down there to SWAC Media Day. You know, so, hey man, listen, we ain't invited. It's okay.
Hey, hold on. Who oh, Kendrick. See, well, I'll just tell you, Kendrick, the SWAC Petty, man, they got an amazing memory.
Bro,
let me tell you.
You know the thing, you know what hurts my feelings? Dr. McClellan from Jackson. I'm telling him, come on, we gonna make him look good if you come on Sippin On Sundays, but he don't like me because of my affiliations. You know what I'm saying? I feel disrespected.
Hey man, me and Dr. Charles, we affiliated, dog. We both Seaway alums, dog.
Yeah, you know, I'm like, come on, man, bro. I remember you when you wasn't even tall, my boy. You know what I'm saying? You was skinny and all that. Now you're a grown, you're a grown man. But
you still skinny. You still skinny.
You know what I'm saying? He had a growth spurt, man. You know what I'm saying? I remember when the little cat was running around there. You know, I know it's God's sister. That's what I'm saying. Me and God, that's my people, you know, and everything. But I'm just like, come on, bro. Hey, listen. Hey, Ron, they got us all that. Because let me tell you what was the Andrew Robert. Hey, man, shout out to Andrew Robert. Now, Andrew Robert, good people. Andrew Robert do it real smooth. You have to send in a questionnaire. Name all the channels that you're broadcasting on. So Rocky did it real smooth. Rocky named every channel, YouTube, Twitter, and he just like, and Off Script. Denied. So needless to say, HBCU Coaches Corner will not be simulcast on Off Script Network this year. and they still might be denying me because guess what? We still doing Sippin On Sundays on Off Script. Still doing it. So I ain't going nowhere. We still holding it down for Scotty. Absolutely. Hey. We still do it. Oh, look. Hey. Okay. So, hey, Doc, hey, man, go on down there, do your thing, man. And everybody that's going, man, congratulations. It's good. You know, it's great for the car because you know what? Me and Zoe going to do a breakdown on Sunday. Going to be just as good anyway. And, you know, I know so far I might have some people come on the show on Sunday.
But I will say this. Because I'm not going this year. You know, we got weird obligations, things of that nature. But
yes, you do.
The kid will be there next year. We will be there next year. The kid will be there next year. Live and direct. For SWAC Media Day.
Well, Zoe, I'm telling you something. I'm gonna tell you this, and you know what? I'm your boy. If I tell you something, I'm working on something big. I'm just gonna pay my way up in that thing. The thing I'm working on. So we're gonna do it. So Zoe, let's get on to it. The media day. We got people coming, and you know what? So Zoe, I gave Zoe a question, and it was totally unscientific. But I said, Zoe, you know what? I kind of noticed the last. I go all the way back to Grambling, right? To Kincaid. So that's as far as I could just think about it. The quarterback, the team that had a quarterback that went to SWAC Media Day, more likely than not won the SWAC.
Yep.
So I just thought that was just interesting. So you know what? So there's a couple of teams And I'm gonna show this first because this is gonna break this down. Let's bring a quarterback, and then we're gonna show the graphics of the guys that's going. But they had a nice little breakdown of who's going to the SWAC Media Day. So this is HBCU game day. And, shout out to them. So we're gonna get right to it. So this is the media lineup. But so what I was most interested on, well, who were the quarterbacks that were coming? So these are the teams that got quarterbacks that are coming. Let's make it real big so people can see it. That are coming.
Quad Brown,
Alabama A&M. Absolutely, Andrew Body, Alabama State. Jalen Tolbert for Alcorn. Isaiah Knowles, Florida A&M. Jared Lockhart, Jackson State. Josh Brown, Mississippi Valley. And Cameron McCoy for Texas Southern. Now, so I said this again. Usually, if you have a quarterback that comes to the SWAC Media Day, and I'm going to ask the preview people. I'm pretty sure Cam Peters came last year. I'm pretty sure. I need my preview people to validate that. So, this is the rest of the people. So he talked about that. And you know what? Let me use the graphic on this because this is probably better because we know who the coaches are. But this is the people that are coming for each team on SWAC Media Day. And we'll kind of talk about this because this is pretty interesting for the people that's coming. Oh, he said the tight end. No, I'm talking about last year. Oh, so he didn't come last year? Okay, thank you. So y'all broke. Okay, that's what I want to know. He did not. Okay, good deal. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just was trying to.
No, but see, you said it differently. See, you were saying whoever won the conference. I was saying whoever made it to the Celebration Bowl.
Well, that's if you win the conference, you make it to the Celebration Bowl.
I know, but I'm saying whoever. Well, I was saying whoever. Well.
Yeah, you win the conference, you go to the Celebration Bowl.
So yeah, Prairie.
So you know what?
Prairie View broke the streak then because before then, because the correlation was Shador did it twice. The one thing we couldn't get was we knew Kincaid did. Also, FAMU did Kincaid. The only one that I couldn't actually pinpoint was every year for Alcorn. I know Troutman went one year, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Not Troutman, but I forget the guy's name. Goddamn. But also, what's my boy from Houston, man? Tall light skinned boy, quarterback. I forgot his name. Tall light skinned boy for Alcorn. The first year when coach before McNair got there.
Who went with Jay Hobson?
Gibbs. It was Gibbs.
Okay, there you go. Shout out to Elvis Price.
So Gibbs went one year, and then other guy after him went. But I couldn't remember because you remember Alcorn went 3 straight years. I couldn't remember who it was before him.
Right.
If I remember correctly, the kid who was the transfer from South Florida, I'm unsure if he actually went to Media Day. But Kincaid did, Shador did, FAMU quarterback did, so it was Prairie View that actually broke the streak.
Yeah. So okay. So all right. So out of 10 years, 90% of the time the quarterback went.
So there's one outlier.
Don't act like my theory, my hypothesis was not right on time. Come on, man. So like I say, so with that being said, here's the guys that are coming for. So of course, Alabama A&M, you got Cornelius Brown, Jeremiah Hudson Davis, DB. You got for Alabama State, we're going down. Andrew Body and DB Deshaun Sims. Bethune-Cookman, they're not bringing a quarterback. Christian Loving, O-line. Stephen Sparrow, linebacker. Of course, FAMU, Isaiah Knowles and Anton Cameron. Jackson State, bringing Jared Locker. And Jackson State is bringing preseason defensive player of the year. Is it Salas? How you pronounce that?
It's Salas.
Cam Salas. Valley brings Josh Brown and Jamari Stokes. And then moving on to the other group, which this is the East. Then over to the West, Jalen Tolbert, Eric Thomas for Alcorn.
Quarterback.
There you go, quarterback. Alexander Vigil and Marcus Johnson. Grambling, them G-men. Prairie View. Got Rodney, what is this, Ojo? That how you pronounce that, man? I'm assuming that's Rodney. Like, well, come on. Okay, I'm going to leave that alone. I ain't going to mess with that. And Malik Mason for Prairie View. Herman Brister. Shout out to Herman Brister. He been there for a second. For Southern, and Cameron Jefferson for Southern. Cameron McCoy, Alabama A&M. MJ Henson and Jordan Jackson for UAPB and Denarius Hilliard. So, looking at this, what stands out to you on this list?
Man, you already know. That's very telling for a quarterback to transfer in late and automatically come to represent your team as one of the leaders, transferring in conference to be a team representative for media day. That's very unusual for Cam McCoy to step in and do that. That's what stood out. But also, let me just touch on this one thing before I even elaborate on who's being brought in, Steve, because I want to make sure I address this comment.
Yeah.
And that's that right there. So saying how give you my logic, my thing is you can make a case for him because Steve, no, it may not have been 70 players, but how many players did Prairie View bring in last year? They brought in they brought in about 55 to 60 players last year and they won the conference. So if they did that last year, then there goes your logic. We have to also understand that this is a new lane when they talk about college athletics. We're all going to have a lot of transfers year in and year out. That's why I'm not concerned about Jackson State is getting plucked from players going to the portal, but Jackson State's bringing in great talent through the portal, and we've done it year in and year out since TC's been the head coach. So again, and we maintain a level of success with it. So if you've seen one team do it, then there goes the logic as to how they could do it. Now, again, there's other semantics for it to work because, again, Prairie View has to find a quarterback. Now, Prairie View supporters may feel that they have the guy. We got to see it. But if they're comfortable in the fact of what they got, then, hey, they should be fine with what they have. Just because you have not seen it does not mean that it cannot happen because you can have that question knowing that they did what they did last season. Also, Prairie View didn't have a tough schedule last year. Prairie View had the easiest schedule in the conference last year, and yet Prairie View still won the SWAC with all these new players, new coaching staff, and an easy schedule. So that's the logic. So we got to take this whole traditional sense out of, out of the train of thinking about, oh, they got these players in, and that just equates that they're going to lose. That's not the case. And it's been this way ever since Prime came in. Remember, Deion Sanders came in with a freshman quarterback with all these new players and ran roughshod over the SWAC. Reload the team the next year and did it again. FAMU did it. See how I'm going with this? Jack State did it, TC second year. So it's been done year after year. Nobody's maintaining a legit roster without any turnover. Turnover is the name of the game because it's free agency.
Right.
So it is what it is. But I just want to touch on that. But again, the main thing that changes in this is how Cam McCoy was able to come in late, Steve, during the spring and then become a leader of the team to represent the team for media day. That right there is extremely fascinating to me because again, it's not like Cam McCoy. I wouldn't feel this way if this was like Andrew Body going to Texas Southern. I know that sounds crazy because he came from Texas Southern, but I'm saying like if Andrew Body with his resume and you saw him play on the field, you see what I'm saying? Transferred in late, but he has a resume that gives you that cause to pause. Cam McCoy, this is his third team in the SWAC. You see what I'm saying? So that's the thing there. EA, Jackson State does. I mean, I'm not at liberty to talk about Jackson State's schedule, but I'm on record for saying Jackson State has the easiest schedule in the SWAC.
Yeah, and I will say this. I'm just gonna say this. We ain't gonna listen. Listen. Ken did a show with TC. 9 other people did a show about what TC said. We ain't about to get. We got too much other stuff to talk about. If y'all want to see what TC said, and if you agree with him, don't agree with him, watch them other shows. We ain't about to talk about that tonight because that's been be that damn. Because let me tell you this, and this is what I'm gonna say this in TC Taylor's defense. Bottom line is, you gotta play football games. If you got that strong schedule and you think it's gonna help you out, win the damn championship. If you got a weak schedule, you think it's gonna help you out, win the championship. Because in the end, I don't care who you play. If you ain't in Atlanta, it ain't gonna matter. Because trust me, it's all about getting Atlanta and win that championship. So everybody talking about my schedule, this and my schedule, that. Man, listen, God bless you. Whatever your team did, that's good for you. So we ain't about to get on all that and whatever. Because like I say, Jack State, you know what's the great thing about it? Everybody that's talking, that's chirping on both sides. If you saying where you're going to get to, you're going to end up seeing somebody. No doubt about it. And if it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. Now, Zoe, I'm going to get to what people want to hear. Because something happened down there at Florida A&M University that has caused a lot of confusion. A lot of confusion. They said, hey, man, you know what? We heard that FAMU now lost $650,000. And you know what folks do? They go write a story about it without any context because now they think they know. So you know what? Guess who wrote it? My boy Kendrick. Boy, that Kendrick loved to throw a little shade.
Oh, he put a name on it that time, huh?
So Kid, what'd you say?
I said he put his name on it that time, huh? I said he put his name
on this one.
Put a name on that time.
He put his name on this. So, you know, so I said, okay. You know, when I first heard this, because let me tell you something. So I knew about this a long time ago. And I'm going to tell you a little break. I'm going to set it up. Georgia cancels football game against HBCU Portland FAMU. A major money game payout will not become the HBCU team. Georgia announced the council's previous scheduled 28-28 matchup at Florida A&M. According to the reports, the game originally was set to play not next year, but 2 years from now, September 9th, 2028. Had been on the books since 2020 and was expected to be a major non-conference payday for FAMU. The payout won't be coming, though. The move is to be believed to be driven by the SEC 9-game conference mandate that's set to begin this season. The original agreement included a $650,000 guarantee along with a matching cancellation fee. So basically, if Georgia would have canceled, they would have owed us $600,000. But we agreed, say, you know what? We canceled it too. However, that call won't come to play because both agreed. School degree terminated contract and just a little bit. So the contract got terminated January 13th. That's when I knew AD. But so I saw this, and this is what bothered the hell out of me. Now, FAMU people, other people that don't like FAMU, when I hear somebody say we lost $665,000, so you know I'm all about money. I said, oh, wait a minute. How did we lose $600,000? Because I'm about to tell you something so people can understand this. When we go to Georgia Zone, and you know they send a contract, guess what we got to do? We got to bring the football team, we got to bring the band.
Mm-hmm.
So when we bring the football team, the band, guess what? I'm telling you right now, that's $300,000. So we're going to go up to Georgia for $665,000 and only come out with $350,000. Now, I'm trying to understand this. Why people are saying we lost $665,000. Now, Zoe, I'm gonna show you something because I'm gonna flip something real quick.
Show me.
Now, this deal was done, Zoe. Now, mind you, this deal was done in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
How
they
you
all
gonna
are.
write a deal for a game 8 years away? Now, Zoe, I'm gonna show you something to show you how. And hey, you know what? Go Shay, you got to take this hit, my boy, because there's no way that you thought that was good business. Because you know what? I'm gonna tell you why that wasn't good business on. Let me just show you something. Because people have short memories and how you got to pay attention to what's going on with business. So you know, I don't know if you know this. You know, fam, you played Ohio State back in 2013. 2013, Zoe. And guess what we got? Look at this. We got $900,000. Do you see that? So let me get this straight. In 2013, we go to Ohio State and they pay all expenses and we get $900,000. Now, so now you're a football guy and we got a lot of football people in the building. Would you not equate Georgia, or at least in Georgia's mind, at least equate it to Ohio State for its name, brand, and recognition? Now, mind you, back this time, Georgia was two-time defending champion. We got $900,000 from Ohio State 7 years previous. And you're going to sit back.
And they paid Grambling, and they played Grambling $1 million after they played you.
Wait. You ain't let me get to you. Hold on. You ain't let me get to that. So then we get the contract. New AD comes in. So, no, wait a minute. And this ain't John Davis. New AD comes in and said, wait a minute. Tennessee State just got $1 million.
Notre Dame.
To play Notre Dame.
Yep.
Grambling gets $1 million for Ohio State.
Nope.
And you gonna tell me that we should have played that game? You gonna tell me that a deal that was done 8 years ago, and the net, because I don't know, some of y'all don't know the difference between gross and net. And the net is only going to be $330,000, $350,000. So I'm going to tell you a secret. We can play Troy and make that. We can have a home and home with North Carolina A&T and make that. We can play, guess who we playing, Zoe? Tennessee State. I'm going to tell you this, that Tennessee State game, we're going to make a whole lot more than $350,000. So for people to be all outraged and lose their mind, they'll say, oh my God, what a fam you doing? So here's what the argument is. Because the new AD, John Davis, he agreed to let, as they say, walk away. Now, here's the only problem that I will say with that. I'm not mad at you getting out the game. But sometimes you got to have your game plan. Because you know, if it was me, as soon, because I know people was going to do what they did, write these articles. So I would have had a game already announced.
Yeah.
I would have had a game already announced. Because see, when you leave it out here and you got people thinking we lost $665,000,
it works against you.
It works against you.
Yeah. See, if you make that announcement, Steve, and literally in the same day, literally maybe 30 minutes later, announce the new game with the contract detail, then it's better. That totally changes the perception of all of it. So now you come around here, you have the feeling as if like there's some ineptitude there, or not being prepared there. You know what I'm saying? Or man, they dropped the ball there. So it's like, again, perception is reality. And again, they very well could have something lined up, but just the way you go about doing it, marketing it, selling it, putting the information out there, you know what I'm saying? Perception matters. But again, in a lot of ways, some of our institutions don't think about that on the front end. Always be marketing, man. Everything is about marketing. Everything goes into, it all works. It all, as man, rest in peace, Corey C. It all helps the cause, as he would say. It does. But again, we drop the ball on so many aspects of it because we want to move a certain kind of way and whatever, man. But when it don't look like it's buttoned up, this is what you end up getting.
It's just, so now, so let me show you this. I'm going to say this. Yesterday's price ain't today's price. So how in 2020 do you think that $665,000 was enough to go to Georgia when 7 years before you got $940,000? $940,000. Come on, man. And now here's the thing, Zoe. I'm gonna show you this, but here's the thing. North Carolina A&T is going to Georgia 2 years after that. Now, what did I say? Yesterday's price is not today's price, right? 2 years later, look at what North Carolina A&T. So let me tell you something. I'm gonna help y'all out, A&T. Look at what they're only getting. They're only getting $650,000. So 2 years afterwards, then we were supposed to play. A&T took that same deal.
Hey.
What are we doing?
Hey,
come on, A&T.
Hey,
so
man, I know.
so I'm gonna help y'all out. Get up out that game and make them folks pay y'all that money.
Man, listen, I know the largest HBCU in the country can do better than that.
Bruh. So when people were dumping on FAMU, I said, wait a minute now. I said, wait a minute. What are we doing? So here's the thing, Zone. You know how much we're getting to go play University of Miami, Zone? That's our power base?
No.
We're getting $740,000.
Wow.
And we're getting another $40,000 from the band. No, wait a minute. Hey, you know what? Hey, no, it should not factor. It should not matter. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because we're playing the brand, not the mileage. The brand, sir. The University of Georgia has the money to take us and give us $1 million. And look, oh, hey, shout out to A&T Roy. I ain't heard from him. And you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna put the link in there and let you jump in. But Zoe, this was crazy. So I hear all this stuff, and you got people writing articles and things like that. And I'm not mad at you right now. But if you're going to write the article, man, at least put the numbers right. At least put the numbers right. So I'm gonna ask you a question: is this not the same reason why y'all got the Southern Heritage Classic?
Very much so.
Enough money was made.
Very much so. And let me touch on that. I'm glad you mentioned it. That's a great question to ask. That's true. Emmett Jones just put a quote up, right? He said that's how HBCU survived in the past with all those classics they played. It paid the bills. But do you know why and how they paid the bills? See, this is again about you do something at a point in time because the lay of the land was different. Let me give you guys an example. So, do you guys know how classic started? And HBCUs are the ones who started them. Do you guys know how they started? As you guys are most well aware, most of our HBCUs are in the hood or in very, very rural areas, right? But the majority of our big name schools were in the hood or the black side of town. And so back then, when they started in the 20s and 30s, nobody had a 30,000 seat stadium on their campus. They don't really have them now. So most of our schools had 5,000 seat stadiums, 4,000 seat stadiums. So it was more economical because we were in urban areas and we had a name. So Grambling Stadium at the time, for example, Grambling was the Black Notre Dame. Well, it made sense for Grambling. They could draw 30,000 in Chicago, 30,000 in New York playing Morgan State. So if it made more financial sense to go to a neutral ground to get 30,000 tickets and then split it with somebody, but I can only get 4,000 at home. So that's why the classics grew the way they did, because it was more financially fit to do those games than play them at home. Right? So that's how they blew. That's how they grew the way that they did. You guys need to understand that. Also, for an example, Steve, you know this. Steve, when you was a kid, when you was young and back in high school over there at St. Joe, on Saturdays at the vet, what was happening, Steve? Every Saturday at the vet, they had double headers and triple headers.
They did.
Ole Miss played the majority of their home games in Jackson. And then they would have triple headers sometimes. And then the Jackson State would play Grambling or have a SWAC game that night. But they changed that in 1992 because they was like, you know what? We're going to invest in our schools because we think we can get more money at home than we can play in these games in Jackson. Because we got to travel to Jackson and yada, yada, yada. So I brought that up to say this. Yes, we did those at that point in time because it was more economically fit. It was more fiscal rewarding to do that. In this day and age, not so much. Because if I got a 25,000 seat stadium on campus, 22 to 25,000 seat stadium on campus, if I can get 20,000 people at home, I can make the money. I don't necessarily have to go to a classic. That's why, to be honest, when you talk about a Jackson State, it's asinine to sit there and move. Because I hope you guys understand that for every classic that you go play, you're removing a home. You're basically giving a home game away. You're giving it away. Instead of trying to do the groundwork, do the legwork to build your fan base, having 6 guaranteed games at home every year. Because Steve, guess what? If you knew FAMU was going to have 6 home games every year, don't you think that's more advantageous for your football team to have success?
Oh, 100%.
So, but again,
I'm gonna answer your question, bro. Because I know you in on. I'm gonna answer your question. Go ahead.
But again, we give our games away on the sake of playing a classic or remote classic game, right? Because we'll say, oh, well, we get more money, you know what I'm saying, for this game than we would at home. Because again, it's easy. We don't want to do the work to build up stuff at home. So, because I'm gonna tell you, if we really being real, no HBCU should play more than one classic game. It's asinine too. It really, really is. So if you got a schedule and you only got 4 home games, tell me how that's beneficial to the morale and also the perception and the image of the program that you're trying to build. You're not building anything. Yes, you may have got success with that one year, but you can't sustain that type of success with 4 home games playing 2 classics going a year. You're not doing your fans any justice because you want your fans to come home. Why are you begging and asking so much out of your fans to go neutral site, and guess what else? Go to all these road games. And when you live out of town, FYI people, every game, whether it's home, neutral, or away, every game is a road game for you. That's asking too much of your fans. But guess what? If your fans know that they're gonna have 6 to 7 home games a year, now if you do got a classic game, it's more advantageous for them to come because they can plan for that. But watch this. Let me give you an example though, Steve. When you sit there and ask your fans, we're gonna open up the season Labor Day weekend in Miami. Then we're gonna go to another game in another state away for a big game. And then we're gonna go to Vegas. And then the next game gonna be on the road. But then you still want those fans to fill your stadium up at home. But they got all these doggone road games. That don't make sense. And you're straining your fans.
Right.
Oh, but guess what? And you still want them to donate. You're straining them. You have to understand who your clientele is. We're not PWIs that got the alumni bases to sit there and just foot the bill on all this stuff. We can do what we can do, but it's going to be of a thinner variety. Trust and assurance. So not to get lost in the weeds, but to that point though, Steve. So I just wanted to highlight that because people talk about the classics. Well, we got to do a whole different thing because those classes, we can't treat those classes like it's 1930. That ship is sailed.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to point that out.
So let me get back because shout out to EA because like I said, EA has been asking really good questions and all the media. So so listen. First of all, playing a game 2 years from now, so you're missing the point. The game was scheduled 6 years ago. Okay, be clear on that. So what I'm telling you is that same argument that you're making. Well, that's because here's how this works. What you're saying, we gotta wait until Georgia, because Florida didn't. Okay, same thing. Just saw the article. We're playing Florida. Florida ain't canceled the game. All Florida did was give another $100,000. They ain't canceled the game. So Georgia didn't cancel the game. So Georgia would have just let it ride. And then when it got to the time, you know what Georgia would have did? Hey, let's move this game. Well, let's play it. You can't budget money like that. And you can't sell yourself short when you can go. Let me tell you what John Davis. John Davis, I'm going to help you out, bro. Because I know you've been getting torn up. So I'm going to help you out what you need to do. Shout out to John Davis. He's the new AD. I'm going to save your life right here, my boy. You come out and tell people, hey, listen, yesterday's price ain't today's price. You goddamn right I canceled it. I stood on it. I called the code red. I did it. But guess what I'm going to do? We're going to play X team. You from Florida State. Go call one of them ACC teams. We're going to play Clemson, and they're going to give us $900. They're going to give us $800. And they're going to pay for the band. Because it's all about the money. And EA, to your point, is 2 years away. We did the Tennessee State deal in a year. Y'all know that, right? So it does not take no 8-9 years to get scheduled these games, especially when you got big brands like FAMU. Everybody wants FAMU to come, and they banned Jackson State, Southern. They want them white folks know that brings money in them off games. Now, to your point, EA, yes, the SEC has told their teams. Now, mind you, not cancel because they're under contract, nothing you can do. But going forward, you cannot schedule any FCS teams. They have to be from the group of 4 conferences. And they're doing that. That's what it is. So you say you still gave up the cancellation fee. You can't give up a cancellation fee until they cancel. That's the problem. So understand what that's what people think. They think that Georgia called Georgia did not call and cancel. It's not what happened. The conversation was already had between the two schools for mutual benefit. Maybe you get a basketball game out of a couple of them. We did play Georgia. How y'all think we played Georgia? Maybe that's what happened. I ain't gonna tell y'all the business of the business. But what I'm telling you, the issue is not the cancellation. The issue that the deal got done for a game for 8 years. For 8 years away, Zoe. Mm-hmm. And we had already set the standard of getting $900,000 from Ohio State. So you can't do that. So my thing is, if I was FAMU, and to their point, is 1-2 things. If I need to get out of it, you get out of it. So like you said, everybody, you should just had another deal ready to go. Because if I got another deal that's paying me like Miami, who's paying me more money, and that's our power base, makes sense. But what people are arguing about and what the game that they want to play is, well, we should have let them cancel. Okay, I can't argue that. I wasn't in the room. But what I will tell you, and I think we all agree with, that $665,000 and a net of $350,000 ain't enough for Florida A&M go play nowhere. Not anywhere.
Well, damn sure not no powerful.
Thank you. Not when the University of Georgia's got the money. So it's like, no, I'm not agreeing with that.
At the end of the day, look, I don't have a dog in the fight.
Hold on, so I can barely hear you. I don't know what you did with your mic.
Oh, my bad. I'm gonna say, look, I don't have a dog in the fight, but I'm gonna say this. That last statement, I don't care what kind of alum you are, what kind of diehard you are.
Well, hold on. Wait, hold on, Zo. Well, guess what? You're right. So we shouldn't listen. You're right. Well, guess what? Ohio State did. Notre Dame did. So again, it's not about the amount of the gross. It's about the net. If you're so Hutch, I'm gonna agree with you. So to that point, then we should have never took that deal in the first place because that's not enough money to make $300,000.
I agree. I agree 1,000% because I was about to say, look, I don't care how much of a diehard alum you are. You can't justify. I don't care, FAMU, Jackson, nobody. You can't justify playing Georgia or any powerful program and talking about walking away from that game with $350,000. And if I'm sorry, if you sincerely believe that you are a buffoon, literally, there is no way in Sam Hill any school should go play any powerful program walking away with $350,000. Ain't no way in hell.
This is common sense. Thank you, Peanut Butter 919. Giving the dude $4 million and we can't get at least $1 million. Get out of here. Thank you. See, that's what I'm saying. You got to use the common sense. You got to use the common sense. Hey, listen, you late and you wrong. And you late and you loud. But Crook, I like that you still here. Because like I just told you, we got $900,000 10 years ago, my boy. Now, how about that? We got $740,000 plus another 40 from Miami. That's almost $800,000, my boy. So don't come in here unless you got facts, because this is Sipping on Sundays on a Monday. Zoe Phillips, Mr. Campbell, Adrian Cook in the building, even though he don't know what he's talking about. Hey, Adrian, how much y'all get for playing Southern, going across the street? Shout out to Kenya Sykes. Kenya Sykes, accountant, she know money. Kenya Sykes, let me ask you a question. You're an accountant. Is it worth FAMU to only net $350,000 playing University of Georgia? I'm gonna ask Kenya Sykes because she's a CPA. She knows. So wait a minute. So we a beat up team, and you got y'all got $350K go across the street. So that's what y'all got, $350K. So all right, so I'm assuming this is what Jag said. Southern went across the street for $350K. That worth it or not?
No.
I don't think so either.
No, I more than anything, Southern should have came away with $1 million. At the very least, they should have walked away with a net of $750,000. Bare minimum.
Bare minimum. Was so happy that y'all brought that band in there, and y'all was so happy that y'all went across the street. Yeah, co-pilot. Yeah, it's worth it because this is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, thank. All right. Oh, hey, okay, thank. All right.
See, wait. More like
stop. It. Okay. Thank you. See, shout out to SU Jag. You gonna tell me they went across the street and got $885,000, and FAMU's only supposed to take $665,000 when our alumni is one of the biggest alumni bases in Georgia? Come on, man. What he said, and he made listen. He said he got $885. They made $870 because it only cost $10,000 to go across the street. So listen, what they just said. So LSU, you gonna tell me LSU got more money than Georgia? I don't think so. I know, well, at least they got the same. So that's the number right there. So co-pilot asked a question. And listen, and Richard said, he said LSU pay all the LA schools at least $750. So I'm gonna say this again. You guys in Louisiana is approving my point. Ain't no way in the world that y'all will go across the street and like you said, cost you $10,000 just put the gas in the bus.
Yep.
And got $885,000, and you want FAMU to go play Georgia. Now, co-pilot's question is, which I think this is where the legitimate question is. Let's start. I'm gonna bring up in 1 second. This is the legitimate question. What was the chess move, and what was the thought process of just canceling the game? Period. Now, I didn't talk to AD Davis, but I can tell you what the thought process of why the game got canceled, because I know why the game got canceled. Because when the previous AD saw it and said, ain't no way that FAMU is going to Georgia. Now, we can renegotiate this, but we're not coming. Hey, shout out, you know it. We're not coming to Georgia for $665,000. When, again, Southern got $885. We got $900. Grambling got $1 million. Tennessee State got $1 million. Mr. Sarge, let me bring you up. My man, Mr. Sarge, what's going on, my brother? Sipping on Sundays on a Monday. Mr. Sarge, your family, you find what's going on, man? Talk to me.
Brother, so much. Thank you so much for everything you say. And Zoe, you are so on point, man. I almost want to put on a J hat, bro. I mean, it's just like, I know you don't have a dog in the game, but I mean, everything you are saying is just like, this brother's just reading my mind. First and foremost, bro, I identified this game as soon as it popped on the schedule. There's this website called FBS Schedules, and you can see, you can see the schedules out there. So when who was it? Not Willie Simmons. No. When Willie Simmons was here, who was the AD before OBG?
Gaucher?
Yes,
Yep.
Gaucher.
Gaucher was the one that did this deal.
Exactly. I rolled up on Gaucher. I was just like, bruh, you got to get Georgia off the schedule. He was like, oh, no, it's going to be the. I said, no. Listen. Did you hear what happened when Southern played Georgia and that young man who got hurt? That can't happen to any of our students, any of our football scholarship athletes at our school. I know that was a bizarre, but that risk alone is too big of a risk. We can't have anybody's child send their child to Florida A&M, get hurt to the point where he came in walking, left in a wheelchair. Right. I know that's an extreme situation. And then I said, and you're doing it for so little money. I said, is this a self-esteem problem? We can't command $1.5 million for the game. I said, the money's not right. The risk is too high. We don't get anything out of it. And we got to play in Athens. And Athens is not Atlanta. Right. Athens is not Atlanta. The location is wrong. So then he just kind of blew me off. Then we got the next AD and then the next AD. And I didn't get a chance to talk to our sister from class of 88. And of course, I've never spoke to the current AD. Yes. I mean, we just didn't. I just couldn't believe that we were scheduling this game. I even asked Willie Simmons about it. He just threw his hands up, rolled his eyes, and huffed and puffed. He was like, I don't know why we got that game on, right? And I'm saying that now because he's gone. I didn't want to say that in 23 when we talked. Right. But it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense, man. Everything is wrong with this. Everything is wrong with this. Anyway, that's all I got to say, man. Thank y'all so much.
Hey, man, Charlie. Hey, now let me pull something up. So EA, I'm going to explain. See, this is what happens with you guys. That's why you got to come to Sipping on Sundays, because the people you listen to don't know what they're talking about. That's not what they said, that they couldn't play FCSC again. Let me tell you what they said. But that's why you're here, EA, and I'm here to help you. Because, see, this is what y'all do. Y'all go and listen to these folks that don't know what they're talking about. Oh, the FCC can't play FCSC. That's not what they said. This is what they said. I'm going to explain this to you. Hold on. Just to help y'all out. What they said was the end. Okay, can you see that, Zoe?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what the SEC usually does. End of cupcake weekend for the SEC. Conference eliminates traditional late season game versus inferior team. The SEC conference games in the next to last weekend starting in 2027 instead of FCS and weaker FBS teams. So what would happen? And let me just pull this on down. So because y'all thought this is what y'all was. I saw all this, you family people. I keep telling you, don't know what you're fucking talking about. Excuse my language. So again, the conference athletic directors voted Tuesday at the spring meetings to play all conference games on the second to last weekend of the regular season. It ends the traditional warm-up weekend when most SEC programs play FCS or lower team. So what usually would happen, I'm gonna give you an example. Alabama would always schedule a FCS team before they played Auburn.
Yep.
Florida would always schedule an FCS team before they played Florida State. On and on and on. That's what they're talking about, my boy. They're not talking about not playing FCS teams. So see, you guys go out there and y'all let them people tell you stuff and they be loud and wrong. And when I saw that, I was like, why? See, I got to come on Sipping on Sundays and correct y'all like I always do. So no, EA, yes, they can still play FCS teams, but what they can't do is wait until the second to the last week of the season. You can play them at the beginning of the season all you want. Wait a minute. Hey, you know what? Thank you, Hutch. Stop listening to the auntie shows. Stop listening to them folks. You know what? Because we're going to talk about it. Stop listening to them people that make them bad AI graphics. Listen to your people over here. I keep trying to tell you, I know folks. I knew about all of this. So come on, man. So you guys want to sit back here and trash. Y'all thought y'all was doing, and DA, this ain't nothing against you, but I thought, oh, you see that? They need to cancel that game. And look at this. The SEC ain't even playing games. Loud and wrong, my boy. They still going to play it. Florida did not cancel our game. They just moved it because of this reason. Because of this reason right here. And Karen, you know that you're from down there. They've been doing that.
Yep.
So now, this is the reason why FAMU had to go and make a move, because I'm not going to have you hold me hostage for $665,000 when I can cancel that game. And this way, hey, John, I'm going to help you out, my boy. You cancel the game, and then you go get the game. It's the same money. It's the same money because the Georgia game did not fall in that date.
Let me say this too, though, because the caller came in and made a statement that I totally disagree with, because this kind of grind my gears when people say this, like, oh, you shouldn't go play Ohio State because we play them. All your guys are going to get hurt. Like they are this supreme being, and everybody we have are weaklings, and they're going to be prone to injury because we're playing them. Here's a newsflash, people. It's football. It's a physical game. The same risk that we have playing Georgia, we have the same risk playing Jack State, playing FAMU.
Yeah.
That risk is not heightened by playing Ohio State. The thing about the reason why you want to get an injury in those games is because at the end of the day, it's a non-conference game and they don't mean anything in the big scheme of things. The conference games are what matters because those are the things that we need to win. But to sit here and be like, oh, we won't play them because we'll get our guys hurt. Like, and they said like our guys are inferior or they got weak bones and they're just stronger than us and they're going to break us up. You know what I'm saying? We won't play them because they're going to hurt our boys. I hate that. That's not the case. We run the same injury risk when Jack State play FAMU or Southern that we do play in Georgia. It does not increase because we're playing Georgia, or it's lesser because we're playing Southern or Grambling. That's not the case.
Yeah. No. And that is not the reason why the discussion that was had, the people that understood the money in the FAMU brand, when they discussed saying, you know what, let's get out of this game because we're not making money. We can take this money, take that date, and go get a better deal. That's just facts. So now if you guys want, and I'm trying to tell you, the game wasn't going to get canceled. That's what people didn't understand. But see, and and no disrespect for people that thought that, because that's what EA had heard those other people talking or reading on social media. The game was not about being canceled because they could still play the game. Our game did not fall in that date window, Zoe. That game was not the next to that game was not in November. The game was in September. It was an early game. So we're about business at FAMU. We're about brand. So guess what? We'd be better off playing Miami again in 2028.
I agree. And if you can cancel out of a bad deal to get a good one, or if you got to reset, then so be it. But that was a bad move. I'm serious. I don't care who you are, man. No, again, I don't care if it's UAPB or Valley, and they don't even have the same pedigree as FAMU. I do not care. Valley deserves, if they're playing Ohio State, man, Valley needs to be getting $650. That's why bringing home $650 or $700,000 for that game. Valley, even with their history, does not need to be playing somebody coming over with $300,000. Like, it ain't, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. It ain't worth it.
Right. So, co-pilot, here's the deal. There was, Georgia did not call. So this is what happened. The discussion happened before Davis got there. Because when people got in there, they looked at the deal and said, this is a bad deal. Okay? We can schedule a game right now in 2025 to play in 2028 and get $1 million. So that's where it looked at. It wasn't Georgia scrambling, and it wasn't FAMU scrambling. So what happened in the business deal, and again, this is on A.D. Davis. Now, what he did, I can't speak on what he did. I'm telling you about the numbers, how this even became a discussion and why this got canceled, because we knew we could book another game either at home. I'm gonna say this: we could do a home and home in 20 and 28 with A&T and make damn near $1 million. Why wouldn't we do that? So if Georgia, to your point,
you froze, Steve. Steve-O. Can y'all hear me in the chat? Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me. Timer's still going off. Y'all put in the comment if y'all actually still hear me, even though Steve froze up. Because I'm not getting. All right. All right, Steve-O froze up. He'll pop back up in a minute. But yeah, man, to that point again, and I wasn't even familiar with this news with FAMU and this deal. I just caught wind of it when I got home today. But no, man, at the end of the day, the previous AD made a bad move. And honestly, guys, that's part of the reason why he's not there anymore. Played a hand in it, along with some other things. But at the end of the day, man, we hold everybody who's making the decision, whether it's the president, the AD, to make good, sound decisions for our programs. And I'm sorry, we have to stop taking the easy way out or take less than. And I commend who's ever in play now to want to say, no, this is not good. Let's do what we need to do to make sure we get a good deal. You know what I'm saying? And kudos to them. And again, it's like, let's try to right or wrong. Let's fix it. And let's maximize the earner potential, you know what I'm saying, out of this bad deal that we got. Because at the end of the day, if FAMU has the ability to get $300,000 at home, going on the road just to go on $50,000 ain't worth it. It's not worth the squeeze. It's not worth the squeeze. So I commend FAMU, the powers that be who made the decision to do that and to, you know what I'm saying, come back and maximize their earner potential. And actually, in doing so, do it going forward. And so we should see better deals from all our institutions. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's, you know, I'm unsure right now what Jack State is going to do in regards to non-conference slate outside of Tennessee State next year, which that'll be a home game to open up the season next year. But you look at Southern, you know, they got Gremlin for Bayou Classic, and, you know, under Marshall Falk, it's going to be really interesting to see, you know, if, you know, they try to go after a Power 4 program. You know, some of our institutions are talking about doing certain things for facility upgrades, and, you know, that's going to be the pathway that some of our institutions are going to be able to, you know, make some of these facility upgrades happen. And so, again, we understand that you hate to see a bad score put on our schools and to get beat down and things of that nature. But again, you got to do what you got to do for the books. You got to make financial decisions. And again, this is one for FAMU that I definitely commend them on, because again, you know, all you need is a 20,000 seat stadium. And if you can, and if I'm not mistaken, I think FAMU averaged about 17,000 last year. I think Southern was right at 20. Alabama State was right at 20, I believe. And then you have Jackson State. So, you know, at the end of the day, man, if those things hold true, you know, those institutions got some real major decisions to make when it comes to who they're going to schedule for their games. I mean, that's just point blank, period, you know. But look, Steve out. So look, I'm gonna shift gears here for a minute till my man comes up. So look, we're gonna get into man, look, we got Swag Media Day coming out. I want everybody in the chat, so that way we can have it on file before it comes up Wednesday. I want everybody in their own little way in the comment to post what you think. I'm not gonna say do the whole thing, but put your top 3 in the East and in the West in the chat, because we're gonna hold these things true. Who you think gonna be top 3 in the East and top 3 in the West? Put it in the chat, and we're gonna talk about it, man. I'm looking forward to this season. I know we talked about the top 10 poll, which should be a top 5 poll, but in a strange way, man, I really, really, in my heart of hearts, I believe this season for the SWAC will be a lot better than last season. I think we're gonna have a lot better quality product on the field this season than what we had last season. I say that I understand we have some skepticism with regard to quarterback play within the conference, but I think the talent that we have in across the board, I believe the play is going to be better as a whole from our institutions. I really, really do. You know, and there are some great question marks across the board. You know, you talk about Andrew Body. We'll start in the East. Talk about Alabama State, who's picked to, you know what I'm saying, be number 1 in the East, but also picked to win the conference. You know, you have Andrew Body going to his final year of college eligibility with being so close but never getting over the hump. And now you're talking about the possibility of going out right off into the sunset in his last season and winning an Eastern Division title and going to the SWAC championship game. You know, does he happen? Does Eddie Robinson finally get over the hump? Because they're tied to the hip right now, and you know, in this final season for Body. You look at Jackson State. Can Jared Lockhart take that next step to be an elite quarterback in the SWAC? When you talk about you know, what we done from a freshman standpoint, what Shador did as a freshman to lead Jackson State to a conference title. And even as I speak, Jared Lockhart he's 5-0 as a starter at Jackson State. How does he segue into year 2? You know, does he grow? This season is going to be a lot similar to last season for Jackson State when you talk about quarterback. You know, last year, Jacoby Morgan got hurt. Lockhart came in, spelled him for 5 straight games to lead us to a SWAC championship game. And then Jacoby Morgan was able to come back and finish in the last game of the season. But we had him to fall back on. The one thing that's going to be tough is, you know, do we have a repeat of last season? Because now you're talking about having a true sophomore quarterback who just a year ago was coming off of a high school injury. And now a lot is going to be on Lockhart's legs and on his arm, because again, not only does he have to take a next step this upcoming season, he has to stay healthy. Because if Jack State had go through the same thing like they did last season, now you're talking about having to go from a sophomore to another freshman. And what does that look like for sustained success? And the freshman quarterback is a damn good one. What does that look like, right? Then you go into Alabama A&M. You got Sam Shea going to year 2. Quad Brown coming back, who is a damn good talented quarterback, you know, but can Quad Brown stay healthy? What does year 2 look like for Alabama A&M? You know, Sam Shea cut his teeth on defense. Ed Miles had a great defense going that last year. You know, they were not that great on defense in his first season, but now you go into year 2. What does that continuity look like? You know, what do Alabama A&M segue to in the year 2? Are they going to make a play in the Eastern Division? Then you move over to Bethune-Cookman. You saw how they came on offense last year with like gangbusters, right? Putting up all these great points and tore it down the stretch. You know, they big game against Jack State where they came up short, end up in the latter part of the year beating FAMU, which caused the demise of James Colsey. You know, what do they look like now in this rebuilding year for Bethune-Cookman? And then you got FAMU. Again, FAMU always going to have the talent, bringing in a brand new coach. Similar, FAMU's having vibes of TC Taylor being at Jackson State. You know, what does that look like in year 1 for Quinn Gray, right? Bringing in a quarterback that he's familiar with, coming up from D2 to D1. You know, what does that look like? The East has great questions. You look at Valley. You know, you talk about T-Book. All-pro cornerback coming into his second year, and Valley, for all his worth, you know what I'm saying, they showed some things, because it's one thing that I can say about Valley. Valley proved last year that they got talent. They had a lot of guys to leave that program that only had 1 win to with some big institutions. Go look at their players and where they went to. They came off a bad Valley team. So I think T-Buck was right. They just got to find and learn. They got to learn how to win. And I think personally they could segue, or at least they hope to, that last game of the season beating FAMU to see if they could jumpstart some juice going into the offseason, going into year 2 of the T-Buck era, you know, and what that looked like. And remember, when they won that game, those guys were all into that game. And look at the way they celebrated after they won that game, because that team could have folded, they could have quit, but they didn't, right? And so you're talking about going into year 2 for the T-Buck era. Then you move over to the West. You know, you got Prairie View, the defending SWAC champion. They lose some things, but again, their coach is unfazed because, again, like Jackson State, he said, hey, we can rebuild. And, you know, so far, Prairie View fans feel like they have. We got to see it. But they feel real good about what they got going to year 2. And again, once you become the champion, the target's on your back. And to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And right now, Prairie View's the man. But also, you look at Alcorn, didn't have a great year. But also, Alcorn came in, and again, Alcorn in the conference that has a returning quarterback. Southern stunk it up last year, stunk it up. But guess what? They're rejuvenated with the return with the insert of Marshall Falk as head coach, loving the staff that came in, and Southern's always had players. But now, you know, what does year 1 look like? You know, they were going to run that that go offense. Now made some changes, and we don't know exactly what's going to happen within that offense, what that's going to look like, right? You look at Grambling. Grambling won last year, the highlight of their season. They beat Jackson State in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Still, I think Grambling ended up with 7 wins or 8 wins, 75, 8-4, one of the two. And they got some momentum into that. You still got Pine Bluff and Texas Southern holding up the end, but I think Gramblin's going to be a player. I think Alcorn's going to be a player. So, for me, you got Prairie View, Alcorn, and Grambling in that top 3 in the West. That's going to, contend with Prairie View or try to, be on the fight for Prairie View for that for that Western Division crown. And in the East, man, I think it's going to be a little bit deeper this year. I truly do. I think it's going to be Alabama State, Alabama A&M, FAMU, and Jackson State. So,
hey, Zoe, can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear, Rock.
Hey, I just want to make a comment. You mentioned some things about
oh, you good?
Well, you mentioned some things about Andrew Body when you first opened this up, right? And and from a historical sense, I wanted to get the impact of Andrew Body in the conference so far, because I want to, for me, as a player in this conference, since I've been watching it, he's probably right behind Shador or on par with Musa as being the 2 most effective quarterbacks in the since I've been here. I'm trying to think in the last 5 years, has there been anybody as effective as more effective? Well, we can say Shador far and away was effective, right? Was he won an MVP, freshman of the year, and so he was far and away the best quarterback in the past 5 years. Wouldn't you agree? Let's just start, as that as a base.
When you say effective, what do you mean?
I mean, effective as far as what he was able to do statistically and also win. Because there's not been many quarterbacks to win.
I'm gonna say this. I want to say yeah, but okay. In a vacuum, I'm gonna say Body and Morgan, right? But see, I feel like when you say effective, I think you're probably leaning more so to, I guess, skill set and athleticism, maybe, or how you view his talent to be.
Because what I really want to see, because I think Andrew's in a unique space to where, of course, he doesn't have the championships that Musa or even Morgan or Shador has, right? There's, admit that, but he has had an impact on the conference, meaning that he's had 2 seasons in this conference where he's been a game away from playing in the big game. Yeah, and I think
so. Here's my thing to that, and I'm not going
2 different programs. That's what I'm saying.
But here's the thing, though, right? So, okay, I'm glad you mentioned it. So let me put it to you like this, Rock. So let's go to Body's first year, right? When he's at Texas Southern, the thing that helped him, it was 2 things at play. Let's go straight, and I can go year by year, right? So the main thing at play for Andrew Body was coming out of high school. He was had a great high school career, so there was some buzz there, right? And at the end of the day, one thing is true in the SWAC: when you come in as a backup and you're a young player, there's going to be buzz there because everybody always going to fall in love with the backup quarterback. Point blank, period. So when you go down to his freshman year and you say, because hindsight is 2020, you go back to his freshman year, okay, what did he do? The main thing that helped him was he was at Texas Southern, who doesn't have any type of winning pedigree. So his greatest claim to fame his freshman season was, yes, he played well, he beat Southern, right? It's the only good win that he had really his freshman year.
I think he beat Grambling as well.
Okay, Grambling, okay. But he beat Southern, but that Southern team, you know what I'm saying, like those 2 wins, right? Then you go to his sophomore year, because from a statistical standpoint, it wasn't a great year. But because he had buzz, and I'm going to say this, because a lot of HBCU fans, anything that we see that can almost evoke something like a Steve McNair, we cling to it, right? And so sophomore year, he beat Southern again. It wasn't a good Southern team, and that was the only good win he had his sophomore year. And he statistically he didn't have a great year. This is not to knock him, but the thing I think Andrew Body has more than anything is that people fall in love with style of play, and you add the youth to it. It's kind of like Jerry Lockhart for Jack State fans right now. You see what I'm saying? We came in, we saw something against that Grambling game. We can see the talent, and yeah, and right now Lockhart's 5-0. But again, there's so much more that you got to see to crown him because he got to grow some more from that. And so, same thing with Body. And this is not to take anything because you can see the talent, right? We see it. But then now you go to after the second year, he gets hurt. Then he transfers over to Alabama State, right? Goes there. And
now it was after he remember he attempted to play his third year at
and then he got
hurt in the opening game of the season.
And I'm saying missed that whole year. Then he transfers. So when he transfers, then you see what he's done at Alabama State. You look at what it was last season, and he had a great year last year. Then also again, you go down to that first game of the season against UAB. They put up these great numbers. He threw and ran the ball well. You see what I'm saying? But they came up short. And one thing about HBCU fans too, which you're gonna see a lot of, when you get that type of performance and you lose, we still hang on that because it's like a moral victory because it was UAB. You see what I'm saying? But then again, when it came to the big game, he lost. Because I can tell you right now, if I were to pull up every game in Andrew Body's career up until now, and I were to tell you the teams that he's been a part of that beat teams that were 500 or better, he has a losing record. And this is not take a stab at him. These are just the resume. It is what it is. But I would say, to your point, I'm still going to say, even with saying that because of his talent, I can say yes to what you're saying. Let me get back to the question. I can say yes to that. But that's why I say define effective, because when I look at Jacoby and Morgan, no, Jacoby and Morgan doesn't have the natural raw talent that Body has. But when you look at what he did from his framework of the leader of the team and leading his team, because even though he took a back seat and he was the quote unquote game manager for the duration of that season during 2024, when the game was on the line, the biggest game of the year, he was the best player on the field. So that's the thing that I can give Jacoby and Morgan and say, okay, you know what? In that case, to the question that you're asking, I can say Andrew Body's a 1A and Morgan, since that time frame, is a 1B. Because I would even put Morgan's performance in the Celebration Bowl over Moosa's. Moosa had a better season than what Morgan did. You see what I'm saying? During that season, what was that, 2023? Yes. Moosa had a better statistical season than what Morgan did. But in that championship game, I would venture to say out of any SWAC quarterbacks of the Celebration Bowls, outside of Kincaid, Morgan had the best game.
Well, I wouldn't. I'm not going to argue that point. I think Morgan had a tremendous game when it mattered. But just to kind of like put Andrew in his proper context as it relates to other quarterbacks, and I think somebody got a put a comment in here that kind of encapsulates pretty much what I was saying. It's been Sanders, Moosa, Morgan, and Richardson and Body as the five, if we have to say the five most effective quarterbacks over the last 5 years, right? I think that's we can say that. And with Body, Richardson only had 1 year. Moosa had a couple years, but Body's been here the entire duration of all of those quarterbacks' tenure, right? Mm-hmm. And my ultimate question is to you: if Andrew isn't able to cash in on the SWAC championship, how will he be remembered? We know how he'll be remembered if he wins it. He'll be one of the all-time great SWAC quarterbacks to come to play in the SWAC, in my opinion, based on what he's done at the two schools he's been at. If he doesn't, will he be remembered in the same way that Robert Kent is remembered and all those other guys like that?
I don't think so. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because if we go by the numbers, his numbers don't come close. if you go look at Kent numbers, man, Kent threw for just under 11,000 yards. Kent won some games. Kent got railroaded his senior season by Jack State hiring the worst coach in school history. And again, no shade at Body, but Body has great moments. I can't definitively sit there and say that Andrew Body is one of the all-time greats at quarterback. I can't say that. This is not to say that he's not a good player, but I can name some other players that did a matchup career-wise to where he was. But there's going to be some monumental games, right, for Andrew Body. Let me give you an example. Let's just say Andrew Body does not beat Jackson State this year. He will be 0-4 against Jackson State. Let's say that Andrew Body doesn't make it to the SWAC championship game. That's going to be huge things that's going to work negatively against him on his resume. Because when it comes down to statistical categories, right, you look at passing yards. I think he only has one 3,000-yard season in his career. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, like those things matter. So, again, I think we try to encapsulate games and moments to a career. But if you really sit down and look at the numbers, game by game, season by season, I'm telling you, it's not going to add up to not even being a top 10 career of quarterbacks in the SWAC. It's not. And that is no shade or hate. I'm just saying, look at the numbers, look at the resume. That's just fact.
Well, I think so. When you look at a guy that cleaned up this past year, the way that Andrew did in the postseason as far as accolades and awards, and then you come back the next year and say he does it again and also as a championship to it, I don't see how he's not mentioned among the great quarterbacks in the SWAC, considering you have a lot when you that would put him a 2-time MVP and a SWAC champion. In my opinion, because I think that Andrew, what and this is my last day, and I'm gonna let you go. What he did at Texas Southern is, in my opinion, one of the most remarkable individual feats I've seen in the past. Again, I'm just putting it over the past 5 years because they were so Andrew Body dependent when he was there. And it wasn't until he left that you saw that they had other players, but they put it all on Andrew's back, and he came 1 quarter away from playing in the SWAC championship at Texas Southern.
Yeah, but you got to give context to that. He was 1 play away because they were the best of the worst. The West was a horrible decision at that point in time. But here's the thing too. What you're doing in a sense, you're trying to intertwine singular accolades to team success, and you can't mix and match and weave the two. One is one and one is the other. Like, let me give you an example. See, you don't know this name, but I'm gonna ring a bell, right? See, you never heard of Aries Nelson at Mississippi Valley State, who played under Willie Todd at Eastside High School, who was a dog for Mississippi Valley State. See, I can name plenty of quarterbacks that came through that played similar to Body. And you know what I'm saying? Now, granted, they probably didn't win the games, just like Andrew Body them didn't really win the games. But they got the stats and got the moments. I can name plenty of quarterbacks. Right? You know, I could look at Alabama State.
Well, I'm gonna say this, so let me jump in here real quick. So let me just say one thing. He got the match up with Ricky Jones and Tavares Jackson.
I mean, that
Alabama State.
I was just finna get that.
But now Tavares won the championship, from what I understand, correct?
And Rick did too. Rick won the first one.
Rick won after the championship.
So what I'm saying,
Rick won after the championship.
No. So I'm not trying to put him in that class of play, because those guys had long careers at one school and they won championships. So I'm not trying to put him in that, but I'm trying to for that what I consider, as I'm learning the history of the SWAC, those quarterbacks like Robert Kent and guys who weren't able to get championships but had individual accolades and things like that.
But that's but Rocky, I won't tell you. I fully understand what you're saying, but I'm telling you, if you were to put up Robert Kent's career to Andrew Body's career,
I've looked at his stats. It is incredible.
It ain't.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it ain't close. Matter of fact, I'm gonna follow you up. I would take, in a 2-year window, I would take Casey Terrio over Andrew Body.
No, see, that's what I'm kind of talking about. Like a guy like that, a guy like that who had also had kind of a limited career at Jackson State, meaning that he wasn't a 4-year player, but he did have a remarkable career at Jackson State.
So but hold on, but let me make sure I say this clearly. This is not, again, Body is a damn good talent, because I don't want people think I'm saying no. I'm just saying in comparison, when you talk about, when you say one of the top quarterbacks in SWAC, I'm like, man, the SWAC has had some damn great quarterback play, bro. I'm telling you. It's just where he falls in the pecking order. I'm telling you, when you factor in, because again, when you want to interweave, right, or you want offensive player of the year, but the team never won. When you get into that category, let me tell you, it's a lot of damn good players, and I'm telling you, he's not going to stack up. Watch this. Now, from a talent standpoint, I would probably take Andrew Body, but guess what? Over Akil Glass. Look at what Akil Glass did at Alabama A&M in comparison to Andrew Body. Just quarterback play, right? And I think Andrew Body's a better player. But then also, you go back, now granted, this is pre-SWAC, but I was about to say, if only FAMU was in the conference at that time. What's my boy, what's his last name? Stanley, right? Steve, at quarterback for FAMU?
Yeah.
But then
Sunshine,
you got Sunshine. You got so many players, bro. Like, when you get a chance, I want you, Rocky, when you get a chance, I want you to pull up Aries Nelson in Mississippi Valley State.
Okay.
I really want you to pull him up. He was a damn
I
good
know
player.
that name for some reason.
Also, there was another quarterback that Valley had before Corey Holmes was there. When they beat Jack State in 1994, I could not think of his name. Real light-skinned dude, man. He was cold at Valley. You look at Darnell Kennedy, who played opposite Robert Kent. Go look at Darnell Kennedy's stats at Alabama State.
But he was a champion though. That guy's a champion.
What? Hold on, did they win?
Yeah, because that's what that was coach's team. Yeah, it was coach's team. Coach Cole. That was their squad.
Oh, he may not have won. He may not have won until after he left.
I don't think Kennedy won SWAC championship though. They just beat us for hunger. I don't think they won.
They played for one, I think, but they didn't win it.
Because Alabama State won 2004 with Tavares Jackson. I don't think Kennedy won SWAC championship.
Yeah, you're right.
But my point is,
real quick. Go ahead. We got a couple people that put in. I want to hold them up.
But my point is, and again, so this is not to poo-hoo on Body and what he's done, but I'm telling you the stats. He didn't. People may think Body threw for 3,000 yards every year. No, he did not. He has some great games running the ball. He's put bad teams and made them competitive, but they came up short. Again, when you look at the resume, go look at his win-loss record against teams that are 500 or better. I mean, I'm telling you, so he has so many things working against him. But to your point, Rocky, he can change a good point of the narrative this season. But also, but if he doesn't, it's going to make it even worse. Going 0-4 against Jackson State is not going to look good for him. Not winning a conference title at all is not going to be good for him. And then you still can say, man, he was a good HBCU quarterback. But man, when you stack him up against these other names that didn't win, I'm telling you, he's not going to be top 5. I'm telling you, you're gonna be sadly mistaken. We really get to talk about some names and some of these.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to say is his story hadn't been completely written that, but I was just saying with what kind of, to be recognized as a great player in the SWAC, you putting it on his onus. He has to win the champion. He has to win the championship to even be considered in that regard.
No, because Kent is a great SWAC quarterback. So no, I'm not saying it. It heightens where you are in the pecking order. It heightens it if you have one. But we have elite talents who didn't win it. That's why Kent stands out, right? But then watch this. If you go ask all the Alabama State fans about Kent, they spell Kent K-I-N-T. Because of the interceptions, right? Because he came up one game short every year. Same thing happened to Terrio, but the second year we would have won, but we had the APR issues. But also when you factor in when you look what Tavares Jackson won, but you go to Southern, Thomas Ricks, some of the other quarterbacks that Southern had. Man, Randy Hines playing quarterback and receiver for Grambling. This is before Bruce Eugene. Man, I'm telling you, like there are so many. Man, Kendrick Nord, that quarterback, balanced Steve McNair. Go look at Eric Randall. Go look at Eric Randall.
That's
for
LSU,
Southern.
right? That's LSU.
No, Eric Randall was at Southern.
But he started at LSU, if I'm not mistaken.
But he wasn't that long because he played 3 years in Southern.
Yeah. I think Eric. I may be wrong about him going to LSU, but I want to say he started at LSU. I may be wrong because that name sounds familiar.
So my point is that there are some damn good quarterbacks in the SWAC who did not win. And Body, just because of recency bias, that's why I love to come in because I'm gonna always speak for them because I seen them. Body is good, but see, that's like this whole thing about talking about Jordan and talking about LeBron, right? See, it's different when a youngin want to talk about LeBron, but they only watch video clips of Jordan. See, I'm different. I watch both of them play. You see what I'm saying? That's literally what the example is. So it's like I see Body, I see the talent, I can appreciate it, but man, I seen a lot of these other quarterbacks that people tend to forget about, and I'm telling you, man, it was some of them was some damn dogs to see.
Hey, we got a couple guys that may want to say something here on the line. Whenever y'all ready, I'll click them in.
Yeah. Go ahead and bring Willie on up. Uncle Willie, what's going on, man? It's Sipping on Sundays on a Monday. Hey, man, you know what? Internet can't take your boy down, man. We got the hot spot. Had to get that going up and running. Zoe Phillips held it down. So I know I was rocking and rolling, man. So I appreciate you holding it down. But hopefully I was able to clear up a little bit for my little FAMU folks and people that wanted to know. Uncle Willie, put him on up.
He should be up. He just got his just start talking with him. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Uncle Willie, go on ahead. What's happening?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah. I just want to say this. I was listening to Rocky, and Rocky, I'm glad that you're over at the HBCU in our atmosphere, and I just want you to remain humble. But brother, you hadn't seen Steve McNair play. You hadn't seen. I'm not taking nothing away from Andrew Body. I'm not taking nothing away from Shador. But them jokers didn't have shit on McNair, Willie Totten, Willie Satellite Totten. They didn't have nothing on them boys. Them boys was hell. Robert Kent, Superman Kent. They didn't have shit on them. The boy that graduated, he graduated from Linear. I graduated from Jim Hill. Jones.
Ricky
They went
Jones.
over to Alabama State. Ricky Jones. They ain't have nothing. They ain't got nothing on them boys.
Shit,
Man,
Mark
you
Washington.
need to go back and do some research. You need to go back and do some watch some film, brother. Seriously, we had some monsters come out of the SWAC.
Hey Willie, I'm familiar with those guys. Those guys are Hall of Famers and SWAC legends. I'm talking about.
Just think about what you just said. Think about what you had. What you asked. What he considered as one of the best quarterbacks in the SWAC. Nailed down.
I wasn't talking about those top tier guys. I'm talking about those second tier guys.
5 or 6 years.
Yeah. Those second tier guys, maybe along with the Kincaid or something like that.
No, he don't even come close to them. But I thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to say that.
So I want to give a slight correction. Thank you, SU Jaguar. Now that Quincy Rashard is who I forgot. I said Thomas Ricks, who was good, but Ricks only had 1 year. Quincy Rashard is who I was thinking about. Appreciate that, bro. And somebody else mentioned the quarterback. It was Keith Poindexter. I just could remember it. Played quarterback in Valley in 1994. Number 15. He was a goddamn dog. But also Mark Washington. Rocker, when you get a chance, look up Mark Washington. Led Jack State to the SWAC championship game in 1999. Go look at what he did in the 3-year window.
I've seen that game. He was cold.
And guess what? And he was the backup. Graylin Pratt was the starter. But 1999 was going to Mark Washington last year. But go look at Mark Washington. Oh man, hold on. JSU Tiger. We're not gonna talk about the GOAT now. No, so Rocky, let me
see, y'all getting very disrespectful. Hold on, Steve. I got to say this. I got to get this justice because don't let me go grab my jersey now. That highlight y'all see right there, that's the GOAT. He won 4 of them things. You see that name right there? Rocky?
I met him.
Yeah, Rocky. He won 4 of them things.
Yeah, he the first Mr. Jackson State
and
right
didn't
now.
Lose.
Rocky
did not lose. Let's
Rocky,
he won 4 and did not lose.
He did not lose, Rocky. He got 4 of them things, Rocky.
Yeah, he'll let you know it anytime you meet him too. But no, he's a great guy, man. He has some wonderful stories. Steve and I were able to sit down and talk to him, and he has some wonderful stories. He's a great guy. But again, I didn't get to see him play. And then when you talk about Jackson State's pedigree of what they had on their roster during the years he played, they were pretty stout as well. I want to say Steve mentioned that they had several, probably over a dozen guys that were drafted that played along with him.
But here's the thing, Rock. I mean, because here's the thing. But see, the reason why I don't bring up Shannon Boyd in this argument, because Shannon Boyd wasn't the player that Andrew Body was. Shannon Boyd was just slinging the ball over the yard 40 times a game. Jack State was a running team with two of the running backs. So that's why, again, me being a JSU fan, I don't bring up Shannon Boyd in that light to that point that you're making about Andrew Body. You see what I'm saying? We talk about certain skill set, explosive quarterbacks. Somebody said, "Oh, come on, Zoe. Body is box office." I never said that he wasn't box office. He is box office, but being box office doesn't mean that you're not top 10 of SWAC quarterbacks who did not win a championship. The stats ain't gonna even add up. And Crook, for what? 4 rings, baby. 4 consecutive rings. Let me make sure I tell you.
Hey, we have Keep It Fam on here, and I'll let y'all deal with him.
Keep it, fam. Come on.
Okay,
keep it short.
My
Let's
question
go.
before I get to my point is this. I want to ask Zoe a question.
Shoot.
What is the plan to get Quay, the offensive lineman, to stay for his 5th year? What is that discussion like? Because every single player that has left Jackson State early didn't get drafted. That includes Phillip Webb. That was a mistake. What is the conversation and what is that like?
I have no clue. And I don't think it's going to be like an in-depth conversation like what you think. It just comes down to.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Rock.
All right.
And I'm not going to sit here and say that automatically if Quay Davis have another great year, that it's just a thing that he's naturally going to be gone. There's a lot of moving factors to that. He very well could stay. Unsure. He made it clear for the draft. Unsure. So I couldn't speak on that.
All right. Now my point. Because I said this before the season began. I always reiterate this point. Jackson State should have paid every single NIL dollar to acquire Andrew Body. Do they have his major at Jackson State? Is the question.
I don't think major matters for Andrew Body. He's in grad school.
Got you. So if they don't win at Alabama State and they somehow lose after paying all of that NIL money to acquire talent and they win the Celebration Bowl, we're going to revisit this conversation and it's going to be a whole nother deal. I'm going to have something special for you. But I'm thinking Jackson State should win it. But if they don't, it's not because of any other reason besides they didn't have Andrew Body as the quarterback. But we'll revisit this conversation later.
I totally disagree. Having Andrew Body doesn't give any guarantees. Hell, he's been in the league all this time. How many championships he got? Alabama State, they were picked to win. Mind you, Jack State was not picked to win the conference last year. Alabama State was. And they had Andrew Body. And they lost to Jackson State. So just having Andrew Body on Jack State team doesn't guarantee a win. Because what's one thing before last season that ailed Andrew Body was injury.
Hey, they've had him pick the last 2 years to win.
But also, Andrew Body kryptonite was injury. And football is a game of attrition. So it's not a matter of if you're going to get hurt. It's a matter of when. And so last season was his first season playing all of it without having a known injury where he's missing games. He played every game last year. But he got hurt during the Prairie game, if I remember correctly. And that's when they brought the backup in to play a good little bit of time in that game against Prairie View. But this whole thing of just saying Jackson to win it is solely because of Andrew Body, I totally agree. Jackson State have other issues that could derail them, injury being one of them. Because, again, they're playing a sophomore quarterback who started 5 games, who's 5-0. And no matter what you saw with Lockhart's talent, you still need to see growth from year 1 to year 2. Make no mistake about it. No matter how good you feel about about Jared Lockhart and his talent, all Jack State fans, you better hear me clear as day. Jared Lockhart still has to take another step and be better at his craft for Jackson State to win a championship. That's number 1. But number 2, he has to stay healthy. He's a dual threat quarterback. But how often will he give the free will to be able to run next season? Because remember, he has a 2 freshmen behind him too. And though we had success with a freshman spilling Jacoby and Morgan, you don't want to look that horse in the face 2 years in a row. Because at some point, it's going to bite you. And yes, we have another great freshman behind him, but you don't want to sit there and look that in the face year after year after year. So you hope that Jared Lockhart takes a step from year 1 to year 2 to be better, to have some continuity and take off. Because if he does, then whoa, Nelly. But if he doesn't, what does that do for Jack State in regards to their one loss perspective for the season?
Hey, so let me ask you this here, Zo. 2 years ago, you guys were in the same situation with a quarterback that had limited action the previous year in Jacoby Morgan. Jacoby Morgan was able to take the reins and run the table, and y'all won the national championship. Do you feel better? How do you feel in comparison to how you felt going into the 24 season?
Well, it was different because similar to last season, Jacobian played a lot the year prior to, right? But the one difference in Jacobian being behind the scenes was even the year prior to that, when Jason Brown was there, Jacobian was a leader on the team. That nickname, the general, did come out of nowhere. So when you can see how the team reacts to a quarterback, that changes things. See, when you're just a regular fan going to the games, you're not seeing that day in and day out stuff. You can see it as the game progressed throughout the season. You can kind of pick up on that, but it's different when you see that from spring ball to fall ball, and so forth and so forth. And yeah, I said that Morgan played the year prior to that before he actually took over in his junior season. He played.
He had about as much playing time as Lockhart has had.
Lockhart, yes, he did, but he also got injured too. But the team, put it this way, the way the team took on to Jacoby and Morgan in his first year, the team didn't rally around Lockhart the same way. It's a whole total different energy, different vibe, everything, right? So again, that's why I say if Lockhart takes this next step, then it's going to spell trouble for a lot of teams, right? Because you see what his talent could be, but just because you see what the talent can be doesn't mean that you're going to get all of it on display, because it has to manifest to be what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you see Body's talent, right? You see it, but it's not manifesting to carry over to the team with wins and losses. It has.
So you're talking about intangibles, right? And I get that. But I'm just talking about, and I guess intangibles is always an aspect of quarterback. How do you feel about both supporting cast, the supporting cast that Jacoby had coming into 24 versus what Lockhart has going into 26?
Well, it's like for like. The only difference between those two supporting casts is that you have a proven workhorse at running back. That Jacoby had a proven workhorse at running back, right? Well, actually, he didn't. Now that I think about it, because when Irv was coming into that first year, no one
got
knew.
Hurt. He got hurt.
But Irv came in 2024. Well, Irv got hurt during the first season when we went 7-4. But then he ended up getting hurt. But we knew what we had at running back.
Yeah, you knew he was the man.
But also we know that now with I'm drawing a blank from our running back from Brandon. We know what we got. Our running back room is solid. It is what it is. There is no layover in there. But again, the wide receiver core is the wide receiver core. The O-line is the O-line. So again, everything is there. The thing is going to be Lockhart. If Lockhart takes the step up, then all the other concerns are null and void. The main thing that Jack State has is going to be on defense. We feel good about what we brought in. Pass rush wasn't what it was last season. We brought in a lot of guys. So again, who's going to be the pass rusher? Like most of Jack State question mark. Nate Blunt, thank you. Nate Blunt's going to be the man at running back, and we know this. Most of Jack State questions are on defense. Will the defensive backfield be better than what we were last year? Because that's what ailed us in the championship game, and the lack of a pass rush because we had the blitz. You see what I'm saying? Did we get better on that? Did we get better on the back end? And can Lockhart take a step up at quarterback? If those three things happen, then Jack State has a recipe to win.
Now I will say in 24, y'all were nasty on defense. But y'all had lost a lot of people the year before too. So that may be similar as well. Y'all answered a lot of questions in 24 about y'all defense from
The previous
kid
year.
coming, from the previous year. Y'all had some guys that came in and lit it on fire in 24. So that's interesting. I just wondered how you felt about that, because because I see it being very close. I actually see Lockhart somewhat being more of a rawer talent than Jacobian, but being much less experienced than Jacobian. In that Jacobian was a junior and Lockhart's a sophomore.
You also have to remember too, in comparison, Jacobian Morgan started as a true freshman in Syracuse.
Okay, see,
he started 5 games as a true freshman in Syracuse with a 3-2 record. Mind you, with a 3-2 record. So he played, but he played, I believe, in like 8 games his freshman season. Like, he played a lot, and so that paid dividends coming back. And again, having a relationship with TC and Otis, coming back to Jack State, he played a lot of football. So again, that's why I say it was different, because when he got on campus, he was a leader from day one, and the team gravitated toward him. So that's a difference between you having a true freshman, you see what I'm saying, and who should have redshirted and was supposed to be redshirted basically, but wasn't. But that worked in our favor, obviously, with the way things worked out. Because watch this, we still have a question mark saying this is year 1 to year 2, but the question mark looms bigger. Let's say he doesn't play at all last year. He doesn't have those 5 games. Now you're talking about a redshirt freshman and a true freshman battling it out for the quarterback spot for Jack State. It totally changes everything.
But it doesn't change anything about his eligibility, because the rules change. You know what I mean?
Like, but I'm talking about for the storyline for
yeah. For him saving a red shirt in this regard, he would have essentially wasted a year. In that he was only going to get 4 more years eligibility anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I get that, but I'm saying if he didn't play, because now you don't have any experience going into your quarterback room for this season. Now he has 5 games under his belt. You see what I'm saying? It totally changes things.
Absolutely.
Well,
go ahead, Steve.
Reset, man. Listen, hey, no problem, man. Sipping on Sundays on a Monday. Zophil, Rocky coming in, pitching while my internet went down, man. Talked about a lot of great topics tonight. Everything. Say, man, listen, real quick before we get up out of here, man. If you want to join, jump on the StreamYard and stuff like that. We went over SWAC Media Day. We talked about the various polls. We talked about why FAMU gave up the Georgia game. Talked about a lot of things about the scholarship, man. Once again, this show is for you guys. We appreciate it for you guys to join. Man, listen, I just want to say a couple of things before we get up out of here. The one thing that I think is great, man, this football season, I don't think anybody knows who's going to win. So I think everybody that believes in their team, and like I said, it's probably, if you had to be honest, in the SWAC, probably 3.5 teams that probably feel good about getting that championship. On that MEAC side, you got South Carolina State. But I'm going to tell you this, man. Again, when you lose 2 quarterbacks, you got to figure it out. And again, Trey Oliver always has something up his sleeve. Sean Jackson had a hell of fire recruiting deal. So when you start looking at these things, and I'll say this, that people say that dark horse is Bethune-Cookman zone. A lot of people on that all-SWAC team. The one thing that we didn't get to point out, and maybe let me see if I can maybe pull it up.
Can I ask you historians? Can I ask you historians a question right quick? Because I think this, to me, this is the year of hope, Steve. This is the year of hope, and I think this hope was ushered in by Prairie View winning the SWAC championship last year, right? When the last year with a school in the SWAC with Prairie View's profile, what happened the year after a school like with Prairie View's profile winning the SWAC? What usually or what has happened in the past when a school like that has won the SWAC championship? Is it immediately restored back to order where the big dogs come back and win championships? Is there some instability? Does it get passed around a little bit between Jackson State, then Valley, or whatever? Or what usually happens when somebody comes out of nowhere like a Prairie View or in years past TSU and win a championship? What usually happens after the year after?
You want the truthful answer?
Yeah.
The truthful answer is Grambling, Southern, and Jack State wins the title. I just done as the God truth. And
Now,
the
and,
one
but
off,
here's what I'm gonna say. And this is why
see the one offs, as you're trying to put it, they are real legit one offs because they are few far in between when they happen. So typically it'll happen, and then Southern Grambling Jackson will win the title.
But here's the thing: what I will say, and most of the times, Rocky, and it's kind of back in the day, like we had Alabama State, where those guys have been together for a long time. They got a bunch of seniors.
Yep.
They got their senior quarterback, and then they win it. Those Grambling guys, Kincaid got there, but they had a whole bunch of guys that had been on that team for a long time, and they were a seasoned team. They went back to back. So here's the only thing that I will say, and this is where we're really going to see how great a coach is Tremaine Jackson is. Because I believe he's put in the system for Prairie View to believe that they're going to be in the hunt every year going forward. I believe that. I believe they set themselves up. I think they're recruiting, and I know their coaching staff is lights out. I know their coaching staff is lights out. So my thing is, the only thing that I will say to Zoe's point is that Prairie View with a team, with a coach, we haven't seen that before where you could say, you know what, this coach is one of the top 3 coaches in the league, and hell, probably top 2, because like I said, I'm going to give TC Taylor the number 1 because he won a championship. He's been there a little long. If you know, T Jack can jump him, but my thing is, I think that's doing them shows, and that's why he goes back and talks about stuff he doesn't know what he's talking about. But that's why they're excited down at Prairie View, because they see that. But to Zoe's point, it usually comes back to the me, but now it goes back to the point. You got FAMU in there. You got Marshall Faulk down to Southern, right? You got Bethune-Cookman. The league is much different now because of NIL, because of transfer portal. You can really get better quicker. Now, the thing about it is, this is where I think the pressure comes in with Alabama State, because listen to what Zoe said. He didn't mention Alabama State when he said Southern, Jackson State, or Grambling usually. We can kind of agree.
Man, those are the big dogs. Those are historically, those are the big dogs.
Yeah, but Southern's probably not in the running for a championship.
No.
Grambling, I think, is an outside looking. So really, Jackson State. So the team that's sitting out there, again, what did I say? Players that have been there, coaches continuity, is Alabama State. So that's why people keep looking at Alabama State and saying, hey, man, they've got a quarterback that's been back. They got Eddie E. Rob that's been there 4 years. They got a running back. They got a coaching staff that's been there. That's why people are saying Alabama State, Alabama State. But that's why the pressure's on them, and that's why they got to win.
I'll say this, too, to add to that. I know people can kind of say what I'm about to say in other years, but this season in particular, I'm going to tell you why, because how everything lines up to Steve's point. Eddie Robinson has a knock on him. It would not be more magnified than this season. If Eddie Robinson loses to Jackson State and they don't make it to the SWAC championship game, his stature in the lexicon of coaches, his reputation, all of that, his credit gonna be horrible after the season. So there is some pressure. And I know people will say, I'm not gonna say a hot seat because I can't speak to how Alabama State fans feel and what they're gonna do. But there is some major pressure for him to win that game in particular. I know they may say other games, but I'm telling you, at this point, he's gonna be like James Franklin. If he does not beat Jackson State, and they play them in Montgomery, with Jackson State, typically we beat them in Montgomery. If he doesn't win that game, and if he, with Andrew Body for a second season, does not make it to the SWAC championship game, if they don't win it, it's not gonna be favorable for him. I'm telling you, at all.
No, the pressure. Listen, he has. I'm gonna tell you something. You know what's funny about this year with Eddie Robinson? It's kind of like with Willie, right? Willie knew going that year, Dion was gone. We had came back with all SWAC players. We had the most, both sides of the ball. There was nothing else Willie could do but win, because he was one game away the first year against Dion, and of course the bad game. But we had beat everybody else. It wasn't even close, and it was his time. And Willie knew the pressure on that team, and that team handled that pressure outstanding and won the championship. It's the same thing. It ain't no MVP. It ain't no, well, we'll see next year, because you've got quarterback. You got, like I said, kind of like with us, you got people coming to your home, coming to your barn. They come to see you. You got everything lined up. You don't have to play no big Power 5 team to get your team broken up. So for Alabama, They got to do it. They have to do it.
Hold on. Do you see that? Do me a favor, Steve. Highlight Jay Anderson's comment. Between 1999 and 2025, 11 teams won the SWAC. The rest is Grambling, Southern, and Jack State. I told you.
Yeah. That's facts. That's facts.
So my point is to you, Rocky, when I say it's a one-off, to your question, it is a real legit one-off. You'll get that one-off, and then it'll be a run. Southern Jack State Grambling. Not in it's however it's gonna go down, and then you might go about 8-9 years, and then you got another one-off win one, literally.
Yeah, I mean,
it's been a long time for Southern. It's been a long
time
for Southern.
And watch this, hey Rocky, Southern has not won the SWAC since 2013, and they beat Jackson State to do so. Watch this. The first SWAC championship game. What
do you think about this?
What was that?
What do you think about? You think the Bulldogs are Alabama?
I mean, Alabama A&M. I'm gonna say again, it comes down to quarterback. I mean, everything rests on Quad Brown, which I think is a great talent in the conference. I mean, he got the measurables. Quad Brown is a damn good quarterback. Said that last year, but again, like Andrew Body, he's injury prone. He gets hurt every year. So Alabama A&M is going to go as far as he goes, but also, are they going to be better defensively? Because their problem was on defense. Quad Brown came in and played good for them last year until he got hurt. So their thing is going to be how well they stack up at quarterback. Can Quad Brown stay healthy? And what kind of turn that they made on defense to be better? Because again, and when I say better, you don't have to have the best defense in this conference to win, but you need to be 5-0. You need to be 5-0.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and I think this is, and I know the Jackson State, Alabama State situation in the East is it's looked at as a toss-up, right? But it hasn't been a toss-up the past 4 or 5 years. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Bama State has one win in the past 4 or 5 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the previous coaches did against Jackson State prior to Prime being there or whatever. They didn't win championships, but my point is saying this is I think Eddie Robinson's future or how he's viewed is going to be in relationship to how healthy Andrew Body ends up being for the rest of the season, and also how healthy Smoots is. He has not only one quarterback coming off an injury, his top 2 quarterbacks are coming off injuries, right? So what does that mean? Again, I think I'm looking forward to Andrew having a big year and being extremely healthy, right? But what TC Taylor and Jackson State has put on the field the last 3-4 years, there's no guarantee that a healthy Andrew Body will be able to beat those guys in Montgomery and Jackson State anywhere, because TC Taylor has put together a formidable roster each and every time he's put a team together.
Well, I have to say that differently, Rocky. So that's true what you stated, but my thing is a healthy Andrew Body or a not healthy Andrew Body, he has yet to be Jack State, period.
Yeah.
So my point.
No. Let's be accurate when we say this. Eddie, Coach E. Rob has beat Jackson State. He beat him on homecoming one year, if I'm not mistaken.
He hold on. So Eddie Robinson has 2 wins against Jack State as a head coach. He has a losing record. It's like I think he's 2-5 against Jack State, I believe.
Well, he only been there 5 years, right? So he can't be 2-5.
No. He's one. Okay, no, he only won there. He was the head coach in the spring season, right?
He
No,
lost to Deion
no.
twice. No, he
Well,
lost
he
to
only
Deion.
has one wing at Jack State.
No,
He
he
only
only
has that one wing.
Yeah.
He only beat Jack State. He beat Jack State.
He's
the
1 and
homecoming
3.
Jackson.
He's 1 and 3.
1 and 3.
So here's my thing. My point is, yes, he has to have an Andrew Body. My thing is it's two parts of this. First things first, that's why I went and I stated that I'm not saying that he's going to be fired if he loses this game. What I'm saying is if he doesn't win this game, it's going to damage, I feel, his reputation and his moxie that he has, especially coming out, I'm swag. Well, again, now you're going to be 1 and 4 against JSU, but you have Body for 2 of those games, or 3 of those games rather, and yet you didn't have a win at all. My point about Andrew Body is, because we talk about this great talent and we want to circumvent it, right? Oh, well, that was different because he was at Texas Southern. Well, now he's at Alabama State, and guess what? They've been picked to beat Jack State the past 2 years in a row, and again, he's over. So it weighs equal on them. This is going to be it's going to loom large from a career standpoint for Andrew Body, and for
I think in some degree you're right, but I think this year, depending on how the season kind of pans out for them, this will be the first year that Alabama State will come in as the prohibitive favorite in the game. If everything
they were the favorite last year.
I don't think so. I don't think
yes,
on
they
the
were.
road. Again, on the road at the vet, I didn't see them as
they were the favorite last year. They were the favorite last year.
They may be from an odds standpoint. I didn't think their team was better defensively than Jackson State's. I think they expected Andrew to be Superman in order to win that game, right? I think this next game, being that I believe that Alabama State's defense was kind of be retooled. The guys that are coming back for Bama State on offense, they'll still have a high-powered offense. And I think this is the game where Bama State will come in with being the prohibitive favorite. That's what I expect going into that game.
But my point, Rocky, they were the prohibitive favorite in the game last year. Also, going into that game, Alabama State had the more high-profile offense. They were leading the conference in yards. Jack State was leading in points. But Alabama State was perceived to have this high-profile offense, and they were perceived to have a better defense.
It was a pick'em last year, Zoe.
It was not, Rocky. I'm telling you, it was not. Alabama State was picked to win the game. They were the favorite in that game.
I didn't see you guys as an under. Did you see him as an underdog in that game?
Well, all right.
No, hold on, Steve.
No. I'm not talking about odds-wise.
But
odds-wise,
wait a minute. Just let me just do one thing, because we always, listen, I was beating people up about being accurate. So hold on. Let me show you. Hold on. Let me actually show you what the pick was from the SWAC for 2025. I think you guys are going to be kind of surprised. So this is
2025 may have been Jackson State.
So exactly. So 2025 was Jack State. It was Alabama State. So that's last year. That's last year. Last football season. And Southern was picked ironically was picked in the West. That was last year. So Jack State was favored because they were defending champions coming back
with their quarterback.
We had
the
beaten
best player
Alabama
in Valley
State.
came over.
That was the preseason poll, but everything shifted after week 1 because of the way Alabama State played against UAB, and then the next week when they came and they beat Southern. From that moment, everything shifted and changed. Going into the Alabama State-Jack State game, Alabama State was picked to win that game. They were favored to win that game, and Jackson State won it. This is not my opinion. This is fact.
Again, I'm just saying, me personally, I didn't see them as the favorite in that game, being that the game was a home game for Jackson State. I saw if Alabama State won it, it would have been an upset. It would have been Andrew Body against Jackson State in a victory, considering we knew what they were offering defensively.
Bama State. My point, Rocky, is I hear what you're saying. My thing is I'm going to what it was before the game. For example, the energy and everything going that week of the game, Alabama State was picked to win that game, even with Jack State being at home. Alabama State was favored in that game. You know what I'm saying? To win that game. Jack State won it, and then everything shifted. Everything shifted after that particular game. And so because that was the turning point in the season for Jackson State after that game. It was and also that game was damn near a mirror image to the FAMU game the previous season. Because if you remember the previous season when Jack State played FAMU, you want to take a guess at who was favored to win that game? It was FAMU. It was FAMU in the vet against Jackson State the year prior. Same type of build-up, same type of thing. Came down to, well, FAMU was the next to last possession, right? And then you go to Alabama State last year, it came down to, you know what I'm saying, the 1 yard line. But also even now, Alabama State's picked preseason. But again, that's why I say week to week. But the way the schedule set up, because remember, Jackson State has the easier schedule. Look at who Alabama State plays before, you know what I'm saying, those two teams meet up. Jackson State's litmus test is going to be against Grambling on the roll in the hole. After that, it'll be FAMU, and then FAMU's at home, and then you got Alabama State, which is on the road before you come to back to the vet. To go on the road, forgive me, to finish out the season against Alcorn back to back. So again, it right now on paper, it's the de facto East Conference championship game. But again, the Mad City Classic going to have something to say about that. But also FAMU versus Jack State, it'll be a round robin between those three schools.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think you're mostly right. I just think Eddie Robinson's I believe the pressure is on Andrew for some reason. For the reason that he's been so close, even when Eddie wasn't his coach, to winning it all, and the pressure is on Andrew. And I don't think Eddie will take a huge hit to his reputation as a coach if he goes in the game without Andrew. If he goes in the game with Andrew, I agree with you in this regard. Andrew's expected to win the game. Being this is his last chance.
I'm gonna ask y'all a question too, because I think it probably could rear its head. Being that Andrew Body is a great talent, you look at how the game ended last year. Also, you add to the fact that Body hasn't really won any pressure-packed big stage games, right? He has those games against Southern that he won, but we're talking about big games. He hasn't won those. Lost him at Texas Southern. He got injured going in for a touchdown. That would have won the game. Like I say, the only thing you can say,
Zoe, and let's be in the context. Anytime Andrews finished the game, he's been able to win the game in those big games.
But here's the thing: he hasn't won any big time games that's going to get you there. Like he hasn't won a Jack State game. He hasn't won. I'm saying those big time games. Eddie Robinson hasn't won those big time games. The question I'm going to ask is because
I know Zach. Zach will go in and find it.
That's what we do on Sippin' on Sundays on a Monday. So, we do facts over here.
So I'll sit there and I'll say, what does that look like this year if the game is tight, the game is close, going to the latter part of the game? That's going to add even more pressure to Andrew Body and Eddie Robinson.
I think and this is just I seen Andrew. I didn't realize it at the time, but Andrew's first game hitting the field was against Baylor. And when Baylor played TSU here in Waco, that was the first time he hit the field. I didn't know Andrew. I didn't know his family. I didn't know nothing at the time. But as soon as he hit the field in the game, you was able to see it was who is this kid from TSU. Go back and look at the film. He gave Baylor the business that game. What I'm saying is Andrew has never stepped away from the moment. He's never let us down in the moment.
Yeah, but look what you said. But that game against Baylor, that's not a pressure-packed thing. He's
a true freshman on the road.
But I'm playing with house money. Nobody knows who I am.
Come on, Zoe. He's a true freshman on I think that may have been his first start in college football.
Okay, watch this.
First opportunity to play.
Watch this. You said you didn't know who it was, right? He's playing with house money as a true freshman. Was there an expectation for him to go and beat Baylor?
No.
So that's my point. My point is, even just because you have a great game in your first start where there is no expectation. Baylor probably didn't even have any cut-ups on him. My point is, it's a whole different thing when you're the man, everything's gunning for you, but yet you've never succeeded when the game's on the line in these big time moments to solidify your career. That's been a microcosm of your career. So now the same opponent who I've never beaten, and I gotta get over this hump. Because sometimes some people can't get over the hump. So when I get to the hump again, when I fail over and over and over again, and yet I'm here again, that pressure is going to mount. Not just for him, but Eddie Robinson too.
I don't think he's ever come in now against Jackson State. When you bring that up, I don't think he's ever come in with a better team. One, right? I think he's always been outman in every time he played Jackson State. So I don't see that as a knock on him. Matter of fact, the first year he played Jackson State, the fact that they were even in the game was all because of Andrew. Didn't the game go in at halftime tied because of Andrew, or they were down by one or something like that? I can't remember.
I can't recall, but here's the thing. That game, when he played Jackson State then, that game is still not the magnitude of what the Jackson State-Alabama State game was last year. You can't even conflicate the two. So what I'm saying is, when it's a big time game with the season on the line, when you've come up short and short again, because you're highlighting moments of being in a game. You can't highlight something when they got over a hump or they won a big game. You can't do it because he ain't done it. You can give me these examples. You're giving me a different type of example because you can't give me what you ain't got. He has not done it. So my point is, if you ain't done it and the pressure comes again, that's going to add even more pressure, because guess what? Now the thought is I'm the big dog in the conference, supposedly, right? So now when the big time game comes again against the same opponent and the game's on the line late in the game and we got a chance to win, bro, I can tell you right now, if you come up short, you can deflate the whole damn stadium because we lost again. That matters. You can't even add that and compare that to, man, I played Baylor, I was a true freshman and I had a good game. There's no pressure. It ain't even the same. That's just like saying, so basically what you're saying is,
no. What I'm simply saying, every time he's been on the field with a chance to deliver, he has delivered outside of injury. That's all I'm saying.
But
even the game he lost to Jackson State, they didn't lose because of him. Come on, man. I mean, at the end of the day, so I understand what you're saying. He has not won the championship.
No, you're missing my point. I didn't say that they lost because of him. But what I'm saying is, when the game was on the line, the ball was in his hands. Right or wrong? Okay, then. And he came up short. The fact is, they know they came up short. They're favored to win. So what I'm saying is, you're talking about the overall performance. I'm talking about games. I'm talking about game-winning situations. So my point is, when you get to this heightened situation again, and he could have thrown for 350 yards, but Rocky, if he throw for 400 yards and run for another 150, if they lose, what is that gonna mean? Because it's gonna be deflating like a motherfucker.
I think if he does the 350 for 150 and they lose, that all falls on the shoulders of not Andrew. That falls on the shoulders of the coach.
I'm telling you, listen, I'm gonna say this just like I said about Cam Peters. If he do 350, 150, they're winning that game. Point blank, period. I'm telling you that right now. There's no way if he's doing 350, 150, bro, that's 4 touchdowns and minimum by himself.
Hold on, Steve. I don't know who this is. Miss Thang Living. We're not worried about Bama State. We're having a football conversation. We're talking about every school in the conference. Just because we're talking about Alabama State and you don't like what we're saying does not equate to us being worried about Alabama State. So let me point this out, because I hate when people do this. If your quarterback is never beating Jack State, why in the fuck am I worried about y'all?
No, wait a minute.
I'm just saying, why?
This is kind of cute. Don't use the bad language.
No, but I'm saying, why am I worried if you ain't never beat us? We're talking about Alabama State. So I'm not hating on Alabama State. What I'm saying is, just because we're talking about Alabama State and we're not saying something that you don't like, doesn't mean that we're worried about Alabama State. You got to do better than this. Just, you don't like what I'm saying. I get it. It's cool. I'm not worried about Alabama State. I'm not.
What is that milk Thanksgiving? That
I put the link in case she wants to join. But
come on up here and defend your team, baby.
Come on, man. Y'all got to debate it. That's low hanging fruit.
Use that bad language.
Look, that's low hanging fruit. Y'all got to debate it.
So sometimes, here's the deal. I get what you're saying, Zoe, about Andrew and him as an individual not being able to get over the hump and win a championship, right, on two different teams. I get that, right? But this is what I'll say about it. The reason why they haven't been able to win is not because of Andrew. That's all I'm saying. It's not because he got in the moment and laid the egg. It's not. It hasn't been that.
I never implied that he did.
That's what I'm saying.
My point is,
in my case, and again, even last year, considering how the defense played for Alabama State, even you would admit they had the inferior team in that ball game, right?
So what now?
Considering how the Alabama State defense was last year, when they met, Alabama State had the inferior team, meaning that Jackson State had the better team. Jackson State was more talented, and you would even say Jackson State had the better coach.
Oh, she said, if I didn't have duty, okay, man, listen, she in the middle. Hey, listen, shout out for your service. You said you got duty in the morning. Let me tell you something. First of all, thank you for, wait a minute, let me just say this. This is a family show up here. Thank you for your service, because you say you got duty. That means either you a cop, firefighter, or you in the Army, the Air Force, Marines, whatever. Shout out to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, thank you for your service, man.
Thank you for your service. So
yes, thank you for your service.
Mean anything about it. He got a little bit hype. Jackson State folks a little bit sensitive because they worried about that game down there, Rocky. So they got
Well, again, here's the deal about where Jackson State sits in the ball game, and I understand being a lifelong Dallas Cowboy fan. I understand where Jackson State is currently in their reign of being a champion, right? And I hope that they can continue to prosper and win championships. Because like I say, I'm a Jackson State fan because of what Prime did at Jackson State. I'm also an Andrew Body fan, and I also support PV, being my daughter's a graduate. So I want all those three teams. I got something on the wood for different reasons. But at the end of the day, y'all want to hold on to this era if you can, because y'all are on a hell of a streak. So and you supposed to rub it in, talk your shit. Talk your mess, whatever, because y'all got the pelts on the wall. You don't have to say nothing else. Y'all got it. You don't have to defend anything.
So I want to highlight this, right? If you go back to the Alabama State game last year, right? Remember what happened on the last play? The last play, and it's going to sum up what I've been trying to say. If you go back to that game, Andrew Body had a good game in that game, right? Right. But it came down to that last play. And guess what? Everybody was saying, why would you call that play? That's a horrible play call, right? Remember? But it was a great defensive play by by the linebacker for Jack State to make that tackle. But guess what? Is it safe to say that the head coach tightened up on that last play call? The OC tightened up on that last play call because of pressure.
I didn't like it. That's what I was saying.
But my point is, it very well could have been a bad play call because of pressure. Big game on the line. So my point is, you had that happen last year the way you did. You get to the same scenario because at some point you're gonna have to tackle that mountain. You're gonna have to cross over the saying, to get that success, you're gonna have to slay the dragon. And so if you get into that same scenario again, see, Jackson State has done that. That's my point. Jackson State has done that. Alabama State hasn't. So and Andrew Body hasn't, nor has the head coach. So if you get in that scenario again, and the game's on the line, they got to prove that their ass ain't gonna tight up. So my point is, you want to say, well, you got a good game. So if you had a good game, then it ain't on him. I can say two things could be true. You could overall have a good game, but your ass tied up with the game on the line. You can negate all the positive that you did with the game on the line, because you know what? That pressure busts pipes, and you ain't built for it. The coach or the quarterback, until they do it, they got to prove us wrong otherwise. That's my point. That's my point.
Yeah. Hey, you got to do it. At some point, having hope ain't enough. But it seemed like a lot of teams got hope, man. Hey, I'm gonna get off here and let y'all close it out, man. But y'all had another great show, man, and looked like Mr. Campbell internet is back on point. So, man, much love to you, Zoe, man. You know, I always have a great conversation with you, chopping it up. Hey, tune in tomorrow to PV versus everybody. I'm gonna be a guest on there because Lionel is having a special. Since I can't participate, we can't participate in SWAC Media Day. We're gonna have a pre-SWAC Media Day party. You know what I mean? Over on PV versus everybody, man. So much love to everybody, man. It's a great conversation. I'll holler at y'all later.
I appreciate it, man.
Hey, man, listen. You know, shout out to everybody going, man. Appreciate the patience, man. You know, the man tried to get us down. I was getting a little bit too hot there, so I was giving out too much information. So the man tried to shut me down. But, man, listen, you know I'm going to get nothing but facts. So I'm going to say this to all my people that want that information. Hit your boy up. I give you the right information, what's going on, and keep fighting the good fight, man. Shout out to all my SWAC MEAC people, my CIAA, SIAC people watching the show tonight, man. We really appreciate you, man. We had a really good show. Man, you know, like I say, you know, hey, man, we might have to be sipping on Sundays on a Monday if that's what y'all need. You know, we just going to keep moving it around just for all you all, man. But, Zoe, appreciate you holding it down while I got locked down. And then, man, listen, we'll be back next. Hey, you know, because the next Sunday show going to be great because I'm going to have all the video of all them coaches lying talking about why they going to win the SWAC championship. And we're going to break it down. We're going to break down every one of those coaches, what they saying. We're going to break down the players. And then we're going to talk about it. Then, you know what? And then, Zoe, you know, I guess we will maybe get into start picking some games, and tell, and do all that. But we'll see, man. I don't know about that. I don't know about it. I think everybody else has done it. I don't know. I don't know about all that. So I'm good. But, man, thank you, man. Please, before you leave, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the Rocky Miller channel. Please subscribe to the Off Script channel. And you know the question I'm always going to ask you, what you sipping on? We'll see you later.